smoke, not what I imagined. I've been down this road before, and nothing is changing. Please help me up, don't shoot me down. My third second chance, but this is true romance. Help me up, don't shoot me down. My third second chance, but this is true romance. I've been praying for the rain to fall, wash me down so I reborn. Open heaven, let it pour. You better love me again. You better love me again. You better love me again. You better love me again.
Over to Breeze, which is always a bit of a surprise. It's not a very common map. Normally we're used to going to Lotus and Haven. Do you have a bit of a preference in maps, Ian?
I usually love to see teams playing Lotus and Breeze, as I mentioned. What I really like in Breeze is when they, utilize the entire map by themselves. Since we've been playing Valorant for a long time, Breeze has gone through a lot of changes.
It
Now,
certainly has.
with the current change that it has, I really, really love seeing how attackers utilize mid for their own advantage.
Yeah,
how they split
definitely.
up, how they rotate and everything. Even the elbow control that you might mention is something very important for, whether it be retakes, whether it be locks. That's something I love looking at. Other than that, I really love Lotus as well, because how you utilize those three sides that have those narrow lanes for your entries, that's something, for me personally, it's something exciting to watch for.
It definitely is, and especially with these teams. Yesterday we saw on Breeze in our very final match, it was so aggressive. Multiple times the team would just rush straight through mid, guns blazing, and pick off as many as they can. And we saw it so often, and it made the game so intense. And that's why we love Valorant. This is why we love high action matches. Obviously, we do like to see a bit of methodical and smart team play, holding the correct angles. But it's always a laugh and always enjoyable to watch people just run in, just playing a shooter. They're pointing and clicking heads. It is what makes it so enjoyable, so action packed. And this is why we love our teams that play in this tournament. They love what they do. They love playing the game, and they all have such unique play styles of attacking and defense and different comps. It's what makes the tournament so enjoyable to cast over and to watch at home.
Well, you won't be wrong. You won't be wrong at all. No matter how much teams play with strategies that we have in their mind, it's the headshots that get us running up. That get us the reactions that we look for. Those aces, those clutches, those hero plays that really make it exciting for us. Even though that's not what a team expects. Anyway, going forward with the map, what do you think we should be expecting in this Breeze matchup that is coming up?
Well, obviously, I think a staple of Breeze is always Viper. You've always got the smoke, always got the poison smoke, especially going on the far left point around the main pillar. You always love seeing it just enclose the entire map, cut off the whole map of her wall as well. I find it is a very traditional pick here. But mainly on Breeze. You don't see it too often on every map, but from my experience, Viper is a staple on Breeze.
Well, yeah, that's something. And are you expecting any double controller meta today? Anything since you've known these teams for a while?
Potentially, I know these two teams specifically we've got coming up first. I don't know much personally, but from the others as well. Depending on, I know a lot of these teams love very aggressive comps. They love rushing on point. They love their Sova, Jet, and Omen, who are very much staples within this community. But you do get the odd Cypher, the odd Chamber, a very aggressive, and not many lockdown. You don't see Killjoy very often, but and a lot with teams like Harbour, Vito. There's a few picks that are a nice surprise to see, but they do have quite normalised and utilised comps, with the main picks being the Jet, Sova, and Omen trio.
Yeah, well, you are correct. With Breeze, it's that you have this trio, and again, Chamber is an agent that we see a lot in this map for teams as a surprise pick, whether it be, and how they utilize it. For me personally, as much as, again, I am not from this region, the region that this is happening, in our region, what really ends up happening is they love to take that mid control or that elbow control, elbow push up the Chamber. They love to make aggressive plays with it. I'm not sure if that's what we'll be expecting here as well, but if that ends up happening, that'll be a treat to watch. Again, we'll be starting shortly, I believe. Other than, let's say, the matchup that we have, Monkey, do you have any specific players in your mind that you would love to look at? Something you're expecting a good performance out of?
Obviously, like I've stated, with these teams, don't do too much of these ones, but within this tournament, there is a few teams that are definitely noticeable, and one of them being Doozy and Friends, who were our winners from last night's game and the Invitational, and specifically Doozy, presumably the kind of the leader of the team, is exceptionally good. Everyone on that team is incredibly good. Their gunplay is amazing, they're insanely accurate. They play so well together as a unit, and there's always a singular star player amongst all these teams, but Doozy, in my mind, has been the most impressive to watch out of all the notes-worthy ones that I can name.
Well, I think there arises another question. Given that you've given us a name of a star player, is he somebody who likes to use the operator at all? Are we going to see any operator-packed action today right in this match?
Yes, I know for a fact there are a few. I'm pretty sure somebody on Doozy and Friends is definitely one. DRR, for the teams that I know and have watched, N5, DRR, Doozy, Apatu, Koku's, each of these teams all have at least one player who I've seen utilise the operator, pop off of the operator. And I mean, no doubt in the other teams as well, there's surely an operator. Every team has that one player who loves the operator and loves their single hit rifles like the Outlaw and the Marshal. So no doubt we're going to see that after a couple of rounds, a bit of saving. It would not surprise me if we do get an operator come out. But we're now moving on. And we're going to champs, and interesting. There we go, Viper that I was talking about, and that does not surprise me at all, to be honest.
Well, yeah. Again, this is, I believe, the map of Lotus.
It is
Breeze.
It is Breeze we're going to. Yeah, this is just a bit of a fly through, but
okay.
Breeze is the map we're going to today.
Understood.
And when we're looking at this comp, do you see anything interesting that piques your interest, or do you reckon it's kind of standard?
In my opinion, if KiwiBerry really goes up for that Astra, I'd really love to see how they keep that map awareness, map control. If you're going for an Astra, you have the ability to use your utility from anywhere around the entire map. Would you like to look? Would you rather support your team since you are going with a single duelist?
Yes,
or is Chamber going to be that roll up? That's what I really want to see. But again, on the other side, you've got Viper and Omen. You've given Omen his entire freedom to do what he wants. Viper could put up lurk walls. Viper could, do his entire thing. This matchup of differentiation in the controllers in both the teams, this is what is exciting me.
Yeah, 100%. With a bit of an odd pick from coming up from Wexio, Sage. I can't say I've seen much Sage play so far in any tournaments that I've covered recently. I know obviously it's a bit of a fan favourite, and especially after the new season trailer we've seen, so presumably getting maybe some changes coming in. But it's definitely not the most common of picks, especially out of the whole roster we're looking at here.
I believe you would know more. In our region, Breeze is something that isn't played as much as the other maps are.
Breeze, right same now,
here. Well, right now, I'm expecting that we would see a lot of slow play from the side of DGC, and we might see some good executes from the side of INF. Just purely going off of the agent pick here, I could be totally wrong. Yeah. Another thing is, I'd love to see how both the teams utilize their chambers here. They both have chambers, they both have jets. We all know what jet is going to do, but you could, make your chamber go aggressive, or you could, totally use them for those late picks, whatever it might be, or those lurk or those wrap-ups. That's what I'm expecting here. And if INF decides to do that, I'd love to see how DGC, with their dual controller setup, counters that right of now.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, they are utilising the similar freestyle play that I was mentioning with the Sova and the Jet. Obviously, you've got the Omen inside of DGC and the Astra as kind of the counter pick, as the other pick to as their own interpretation. And both do their job in their own certain way. They both close off line of sight. Obviously, Omen being the more close quarters, and whereas Astra prefers the very long range and much in-depth setup side of things. But I do think when it comes to Inferno, I think they are going to like their heavy defense. Obviously, Astra can set up the smokes for when they proc it. You got the chamber for long-range defense, Sova for the intel, and you got that Sage for that extra bit of slow down and wall and the little mine. So, in general, I think their comps are quite well-rounded. They both have a bit of exactly what you need. Both nice bit of defense, like Viper's nice for the defense, cutting off a lot of angles and a lot of entryways. So, I think we've got quite well-rounded team comps here.
Well, yeah, you're not wrong. But once again, I'd really love to see how they utilize Astra here as a single controller on Breeze. Again, Breeze is a big map.
It is.
Having a single controller here, that somehow seems like something they might have a plan, and that's what we want to see. Do they have executes ready? Do they have post plans ready? How do they want to play this? So this single controller setup right now from the side of INF is something very interesting that is piquing my interest. That is why I keep talking about it. But truth be told, even I am an Astra main and I love playing Astra, and knowing Astra on Breeze to have it, as an individual controller might turn out to be a bit difficult. I'm not
Yeah.
exactly sure how they're going to handle their post plans.
Yeah, 100%. I get exactly what you mean. As well, Breeze is very a long-sided map, and what you said, a very large map as well, compared to a lot of other maps. With Astra would thrive off quite close quarters and very small entryways, is where her smokes thrive, and it's where she likes to play. But with it being such a wide map, such a lengthy map as well, she can only cover so much ground on her own, and that's where you would normally want two controllers, which is what DGC have gone for here with the Viper and the Omen, who both can control a site just themselves.
Well, yeah, and now without wasting any further time, we're jumping up into the game. Right now, we can see from the side of DGC, it's a 4-1 split. They're towards B head, but again, from the side of 1NF, it's a 4-1 split as well. The left chamber alone on A, while 4 other agents here are totally towards B side. It feels like a 4v4 that we're going to see up. It's a matchup. The usual split that we see, that is not of the case here.
Yeah, definitely. Normally you see kind of an even split or an all send it in Breeze especially, but Guns already going back crazy. And 15 HP down to Neo already, sorry. Not Neo, Panasonic, but going down immediately. Wexo finds Kane. Kiwi gets a double on the Sushi at Maeve. And Wexo immediately finds Panasonic as well. Already 4 down for the side of DGT, and Neo quickly finishes off Spud. Very quick team wipe for the pistol round.
Just as we were talking, that elbow control, something that we would love to see. That is exactly what they did in the special round, allowing them for a very crucial first round win. Now, obviously, they're going to go for the full buy, and I believe DGC would go for their eco. What I really want to see is, given up the eco, when we'll go for the third round, how would DGC counter this that they just saw? It's clear that INF has a plan. INF knows what they're doing. And right now, again, we see a 4-1 split once again, but Viper, interestingly, is with the spike towards A.
Yeah.
Even.
It's interesting. You just see Infernal have gone for a slightly wider split, putting 2 onto the side of A to maybe cover as they. Oh, it does not matter, as Catlover does find Sushi immediately caught out on the long range, which is a very unfortunate pick for them opening into the attacking round. We do see Viper on their own, would be interesting, but Spud does get taken down. Wexio dropping the spike in line of sight of A side, so it's a very unfortunate pick. Catlover finds another onto Mayo. They're already gunning them down, and this is why we love Breed. It's so, these early rounds are so chaotic, so enjoyable. Neo finds Panasonic with the Outlaw. It would be just a 1 versus 5. It's not looking like he's been able to do much. Does get peeked and immediately finds them again with the Sheriff headshot, and another very swift round going for Infernal.
Well, I believe DGC probably had a plan in their mind that they'd rather push up 4 people towards B, get the rotation in, maybe get the plant on A, and that's all that they were looking for. Turns out INF was ready. They could not get that. One push towards A main. DGC does get the spike drop, and the plan that they totally had in mind went to waste, went to shambles. Now, going into our buy round, we see both the teams, having some sort of a proper buy. It'll be interesting to see what DGC does this round. In case they lose this bonus, the 4th round for INF would look very fruitful.
Yeah, definitely. As I'm saying, in buy round, everyone's got their main guns now. We're seeing a lot of Vandals coming out. Kiwiberry is something to stick with the Sheriff, though. And that kind of hints to me that maybe they're saving for an op. And that wouldn't surprise me. Will finds Maeve, immediately finds a second on Sushi. A nice quick peek, taking a nice double, but Kane does fire back onto Catlover, getting themselves on an early pick into this round. And a nice quick headshot from Panasonic coming up onto Wexio in mid. It was a bit of a crucial pick early on to even up the score, but unfortunately Roll and Kiwiberry say otherwise. Will find themselves a triple on the Spud as Panasonic gets taken down by Kiwi. Kane does shut down Roll with a nice quick headshot with the Guardian as they are currently forced a point, but Neo is there and ready with the Outlaw to take down Kane.
No way.
It's looking
INF have converted their bonus round. Look at the economy right now.
This is looking
DGC
dire.
have no option. Yeah, they have no option but to go for another eco unless they have a plan and decide to force, which I think is very highly unlikely. Again, INF, even though we were a little skeptical about their Astra pick, it seems like they're ready for their defense. It would be interesting to see how they utilize the same controller on attack, but for now, this team is totally loaded.
100%, and they clearly know what they're doing. Even with the Astra pick, like we were talking, they figured out their strat. They know what they're doing, and they're going for a very aggressive push here, turning the attackers into the defenders. But find Panasonic immediately caught out on the elbow. And already such a crucial pick going down, and being such aggressive on defense sometimes works in your favor because the opponents never expect it. But unfortunately, coming immediately out the smoke, Kiwi Baby is popping their own util as they get ready for Neo. Finds a double on A on the Sushi and Spud. Kiwi Baby finds another. Kane does find one, finds two, but Roll is there to finish them off. We're getting a bit more money over towards DGC. It's not looking promising as Infernal do take another convincing round.
It's not looking promising at all. I wouldn't be surprised if they soon go for a timeout. The DGC, looking at the previous plays here, DGC seems to be, picked off a lot. I'm not sure what they're going to change here to make sure that they get better picks, they get the first shots in. But in my opinion, if they would rather default out a bit more, we might see a bit of fruitful gameplay. But here, we're looking at a 3-2 split. Probably it's going to be a mid and A push that we'll see from the side of DGC, and that is what is ending up happening. Sova utilizes his drone. Panasonic gets one with the AWP. Call over will get that trade in.
We love an AWP.
We do. Still see DGC making their way up mid. They have smoke up. Neo gets one on.
Oh, okay. Neo's popping off.
They're still unaware. Cat's still in the smoke.
We do see it both. Now, Panasonic losing that AWP's kind of crucial going into the rest of this round. Very does get caught out by Maeve. Sushi finds Neo, but Caliber 5 back onto Sushi. Brings down to a 2 versus 2 as Maeve finds Caliber as well. Down to a 2v1. Wakesio isn't not the best situation as they are finally planting the spike. Kane's getting it down as Wakesio is gradually rotating around to the backside of A. But doesn't have the wall ready, unfortunately, so there's only a bit of block they can really do. Does find Kane though. Isn't aware where Maeve is, but they aren't looking too good on health, so it's best that Kane takes the opening fight in hopes they can finish off or provide a bit of backline support. They're going for a very aggressive peek, going ring around the Rosie, round the point. You need to look left, where you have no idea. Gets caught out by Maeve, and DGC finally take themselves around.
Finally, I mean, again, Kiwi Berry getting caught off in that, in mid while he was using his util. That seemed a little off. If that wasn't of the case, Kiwi Berry was ready. He was expecting. But here again, we see the first round from the side of DGC, a very good conversion, finally. And looking at the economy, DGC is somehow covering up.
They're looking better. It's looking more stable. Better. Obviously, Panasonic
than before.
Yeah, no, it's looking better. Obviously, it could definitely be better as they're very lacking. If they do lose this round, they're going to go back into another dire state of possibly having to go a bit more eco or low. But Neo finds an immediate op, and this is what you were saying earlier. You want to see some op plays, and it seems we found our op player for Infernal, being Neo. And funny enough, it is both chambers on each team who like to pop off with the art. But finding one immediately and so early on with Panasonic, it's not the end of the world, as Panasonic was the only one who didn't have a Vandal for this round. So being the least threatening weapon on Arsenal, ready, but Caliber gets found out by Kane. Neo finds another with the up, taking down Maeve as well. Brings down to a 4 versus 3 as they're all rotating through elbow. But they're getting ready. Neo's holding this very sharp angle with the op. Aldrone comes out, looking for Neo, does find them presumably. But Huberry does find Spud as they solo push onto the point, and they do have, Roll has control of the spike with that early opening pick. Kane does find Wexio though, so it's a nice shot back. They're getting ready for the pick, and a nice pick on the Wexio for the triple. Gets a quadro with a pistol on the Sushi. And that was looking much more how the last couple of rounds have gone compared to the last one.
An absolute menace. Neo's an absolute menace with that operator.
That is dangerous.
Dangerous, man. And DGC here is trying his best to utilize the dual controller meta that they have set up. If you actually look at how they've been trying to play the rounds, they're really trying to set somebody up for the lurk. They're really trying to get that map control. But INF here just does not give them any map control whatsoever. They do not deny any site. They do not allow any entry on any site at all. There's always someone posted. That someone seems to be a problem. And the only round that we saw that game for the side of DGC had a bit of mid presence that they actually properly executed.
Definitely.
Going forward, we finally have a timeout. What do you think really they might change right now that might, or you feel like they should change? Get the scores, again, a bit similar.
Right now, obviously, they're needed to bring a bit of a comeback, and it's always sensible to take a timeout and kind of recuperate their strategy. But when it comes to, I think they need to focus more on the sites themselves, as we're seeing a lot of these deaths are happening around mid and elbow throughout every round. That's where they're getting picked off. And I think rather than sending just a single person to site every time, you need to send a few more. Maybe send a couple of people to A, or maybe a couple of people to B. Try and commit a bit more to the actual sites themselves. And we did see it's the one time they did that, they were able to plant and take a round. So I think if they try and be a bit more consistent with that plan, and it does look like they're wanting to go for an all-out attack onto A site.
Well, that would be interesting to see. Let's go ahead with this round and see what happens.
Right here.
Yeah, definitely. But the Neo is sitting ready and waiting, holding that, getting ready to hold the angle with the op. Surely can hear the drone, so they know they're getting ready to peek, and finds Panasonic immediately and TV straight out of there, immediately opening the pick and knowing that the rest of them are there. But Mate does find a nice pick with the ult, finishing off Neo, taking out the op out of the match for this round. And it seems like they're going to try and go for a very early spike with Sushi planting as the Viper ult now does come out. This is where they need to do it, finally utilising a bit of their ult, finally a bit of their kit, and Spike does get planted within the smoke. So right now, DG definitely have control at this point, but Kiwiberry says otherwise, taking down Maeve, who still had the ult ready, but wasting it already so early on into the Spike's timer is not exactly what we want to see. As we do see Kiwiberry putting down their own smokes within the Viper ult here. As Makzo finds one and Roll finds the last two, and a very quick team wipe for Infernal as they turn the attackers into the defenders. And very aggressive plays, though, coming out here and finding a lot of value.
That was a little unexpected, to be honest with you. I did not expect DGC to lose that round so quickly when they really had, you know, Kane had his ult ready. They had so much. Sushi had his ult ready. Something could have been done. They could have repositioned. They could have bought more time. Maybe Omen could have gone main. But all we saw is them getting picked off one by one, and nobody was aware of their positions. Nobody played off of each other. INF either are doing something really, really nice, or BGC is just lost at this point, not understanding what to really do.
Yeah, 100%. It's looking a bit dire as this point lead is gradually building more. You want to start taking some rounds now while you still have a chance. As we get to that second half, the pressure gets put on really high, and the closer your opponents are to victory, it's going to make your life 10 times harder. But they are looking to want to go for an all-out attack onto A again, as it did work quite well the last time. I just didn't think they executed their post-plant very well. So hopefully they can learn. But Wexley does immediately find Panasonic. It's not Panasonic's day. Kiwiberry finds a double on the Sushi and Kane. Opening up the fiver, and Royal finds a nice pick on the Maeve with the knife. It's just been a one-on-one. Royal finds another pick on the Spud. And they didn't even get a chance to plant the spike this time round.
I mean, INF are showing an absolute dominance right now. Every time, like, no matter what DGC ends up doing, they either have perfect retakes, they either have perfect defenses. No matter what DGC might end up cooking, even though it was a safe round last round, let's be honest, INF still somehow, with their executions, you know, you can see very near about flawless rounds. It just seems like DGC might need to change up what they're doing, because they're not able to utilize those frags or get those frags, or even if they end up getting the plants, it's not something they can capitalize upon.
Yeah, definitely. Right now, it's looking a bit dire as, well, obviously, we're gradually getting closer to the second half. Neo is looking like an absolute monster, still rocking the arm. Hopefully Panasonic can find their footing in this match, as right now it is not their day. They are not having a great game. But a very aggressive push on Infernal. Again, Roll finds one, but out comes the ult, but Roll ends up finds another one on Sushi, gets a triple on the Maeve. Caliver takes down Kane in return, and Panasonic finds themselves a pick, but Wexio on the flank back into their own spawn, immediately takes them down. And before they even get a chance, it's already over.
As I mentioned before, DGC need to get a hold on what needs to be done right now. Just look at it. There's 4 group up, and nobody's carrying elbow. Anyhow, Kane decides to utilize his ult when it's totally clearly in the open. That's something you do not do. Somebody should be out there holding that push, and nobody was out there holding that push while your duelist is going for that entry towards main. That's just something you don't do, DGC. That's just something you avoid.
Yeah, definitely. So it's some minor mistakes that are gradually stacking up, and it's very dire for them. As an immediate push, Ralph goes in, finds and even dashes straight out. Panasonic, though, does find a nice pick on the Wixio to combat that really early on, which you like to see. As the other spraying and praying, Ralph finds another on the Sushi. He gets another on Panasonic, and just barely can't take it down, but Caliber finds Kane, finishes off Spud. And right now, it's Infernal are just turning DGC into their own defenders and just rushing them down just as they leave their own spawn. And I can't think of what DGC need to try and combat this, because it's such an aggressive comp, and they know they play like this. But it feels like they just keep running into their own trap.
You're not wrong. Like the thing that we keep seeing from the last 3 rounds is just the aggression that INF are showing, even though they're the defenders, and DGC just have no response towards it. INF do not waste a single time reacting to what DGC might be cooking at this point, which really allows them to capitalize on what DGC might have planned, but on an earlier round. Look, same here. Jet goes in, gets one. That was a very early aggression from the side of INF. And Soba, just because Jet has been picked off, traded off, does not stop. He goes in for more frags. Here, this turns it into a 3v2 scenario. Right now, we see the spike has been dropped in lane. Both Chamber and Jet are towards B main, while spike is dropped in lane. Okay, Cuber takes on Mavia and Vixo takes on Mansik. It's the same thing all over again. It's the same thing.
They're just playing into the same strat over and over. Infernal go for their own very aggressive push on the attackers, and the attackers just DGC just keep walking at them in a straight line over and over again. And it makes you think, by this point you surely would know what is going through Infernal's head. You know what their plan of action is, but they just aren't learning from their mistakes. And now we're in the final round of the half with a score looking 10-1, so incredibly dire for DGC. It's at this point it's not looking comebackable. It's very, very unfortunate.
Well, again, I agree with what you've said, but never say never in the game.
No, you can never say never. We have seen monstrous comebacks. We saw one yesterday, in fact.
Yeah.
With but a snipe with a monstrous peek by Kiwi Berry. Finds one, finds another on Spud.
Stop.
And Caliber gets another onto Sushi with Wallbang. Already free out of spawn once again. Kane just finds Kiwi Berry though. In return, Victory takes down Kane. It's just Panasonic against the world. Not getting lit up with only 19 HP to spare. And they are just going to get sprayed through a wall. That wouldn't surprise me. But a quick jump around the corner of a short from Wexio finish them off. And they finished the first half with a score of 11-1. Just 2 points off winning, and DGC need to make a monstrous comeback if they want any hope to stay in the tournament today.
You're correct, but given how INF have been showcasing their gameplay to be, the aggressive pushes that we've seen in the defensive side, I'm really excited to see, or curious to see what they would do in these rounds of attacks that they have. I feel like INF might close it real soon, but since the sides have swapped, might be expecting something new.
Yeah, definitely. It's always interesting to see how different teams play depending on the side they are on, and obviously we clearly know Infernal love their very aggressive, hyperactive defense rounds, so it wouldn't surprise me if they go up for an all-out attack on their attack round, and it does seem they are looking for B, as Raul themselves is solo pushing through mid, potentially looking to find Viper, put Spud on their own, as nobody's holding elbow on DGC. As Viper's gradually making their way down through mid, Spud looking to potentially meet up with Raul in the centre, but isn't finding anyone, and Raul is completely oblivious to the push and not aware that they have Spud right behind him. As Panasonic does find one on Kiwi Berry. Nice and pick. Sushi gets a nice onto Raul, already took 3-5. It's looking promising for DGC to hopefully find themselves around, but a nice wall up to Wexio to get himself the high ground, taking down Panasonic, but Spud gets lit up down to 15 HP as the Spud does get planted by Infernal. Now they need to really play safely on this post plant, as a bit of a very heavy disadvantage of 4 versus 2, as the entirety of DGC are rotating to the spike, and they are quite spread out. Infernal, both Neo and Cat Lover have gone on their own little adventures here, but it does seem Cat Lover gets found out by Spud and gets taken down, being left in a 1 versus 4. Neo is a bit of a dice situation, takes down Kane, finds a second onto Miro, finds a third onto Spud, as it is just Sushi left trying to go for the early defuse, does miss, and both teams are found in spot, and Neo gets the 1 versus 4 clutch onto Sushi, bringing Infernal to match point.
Match point.
Again, once again, there's nothing new.
No.
Inferno has just been ready. Look at them go. Look at them take those frags. DGC have nothing in their arsenal they could probably use right now, given that they're, in shambles right now, their economy. They have no option but to force. But INF here going for a full buy, will utilize it. But KiwiBerry once again, probably saving for an up. Probably. We'd like to see, but it seems like they'll close up the game anyway.
It's looking at yeah, they wanted to close the game, but my word, Neo, what a play. Look, 1 versus 4 clutch to bring yourself to match point is just absolutely incredible, and it's no doubt it's going to feel dreadful to DGC to losing to that. But they are looking to push through elbow this time round rather than leave B, but Wexy finds Panasonic in the backside of B. What a long shot, and taken 1 down already. DGC are already at disadvantage. Raul finds Spud. 3 versus 5. The team is slowly dismembering. Sushi peeks through the smoke ever so slightly. Does get caught by Raul, but Kane does fire back with the stinger. It's a nice opening kick, but in the 2 versus 4, as Kugo's going for the palm, Wesley finds one, Catlava
It's
finds
all
another, and
over.
it's over. 13-1, sorry. Infernal takes down Divinity very swiftly and very convincingly, and they now move on into the next bracket.
We did see it coming, given how
Yeah.
the INF was playing. We did see it coming. There was nothing really DGC could have done. When again in the pistol round, when that 1v4 clutch and you pulled up that 1v4 clutch, that should have been devastating for the side of DGC. That round should have been theirs when they lost it. Again, going into the economy, they just bought up, and the last round there was nothing you could have done. Probably DGC feeling a little disheartened, but that's quite. But still, you know, watch this game, learn from it, understand what they want to do next. Given up, next we have another matchup, if I'm not wrong.
Yes, shortly, because we will be going to a very short break soon. As right now we're just waiting for some of the other teams to finish their games. Obviously, that game was quicker than the average Valorant. That went much faster than what we predicted. So right now we are just currently waiting for the rest of the brackets to fill up, as some other teams are finishing their first rounds. And once we get those brackets, we will come back to you very shortly. But on that note, we'll send us to a very short break. So don't go anywhere. Maybe grab a quick drink, enjoy the hot weather, and we'll be back very soon. Down here, not to go down.
I believe DGC probably has a plan in their mind that they'd rather push up 4 people to the field than basically the plan.
That kind of hits me that maybe they're saving for not. And I wouldn't surprise you. 5 lanes in the beginning, 5 lanes in the second one. Lucy. Nice quick peek, thinking a nice double, but Kane does fire back on the Catlava hit. Early takes this round, he takes this round. And a nice quick headshot from Panasonic. Quick mid. It was a crucial pick early on. Even up the score, but unfortunately Rowan and Hugo say otherwise. We'll find themselves a triple on the spot as Panasonic is taken down by Kiwi. Kingo does shut even up the score, but unfortunately Rowan and Hugo say otherwise. We'll find themselves a triple on the spot as Panasonic is taken down by Kiwi. Kingo does shut down Roll with a nice headshot with the Guardian as it deactivates. Like we were talking, they get out there throughout the goal, and it goes a very aggressive push here. Doesn't just get attackers into the center. Finds Panasonic the peak ever expects it. That's something really have to smoke. Hugo is popping there. Double on A.
Here we're looking at a 3-4 split. Probably going to be a mid and A push that we'll see from the side of DGC, and that is what is ending up happening. So
do you see it both now? Panasonic losing that ops kind of crucial going into the rest of this round. He does get caught out by maybe
got a head full of spiders in a hat that isn't here. Cigarettes and bullet holes. One more to the chest and I'm alone. Nothing gets me any higher, and nothing ever will. Tried to stay sober, tried to stay clean. Wake me when it's over, like a bad dream. Mama doesn't call, sister never writes. Bet you they would laugh if I called to say goodbye. Until they pull me out the mystic.
Really can hear the drone saying no to everything. And find Panasonic into the spike to find that it's not even want to see. Juicy Hugo, so he does that on the
I bet nobody can remember what color eyes are on my face. I'm a freak, I'm a pretender. I never really had a place. Broken cigarettes and bullet holes. One more to the chest till I'm alone. Nothing gets me any higher, and nothing ever will. Tried to stay sober, tried to stay clean. Wake me when it's over, like a bad dream. Mama doesn't call, sister never writes. Bet you they would laugh if I called to say goodbye. No one's gonna worry and notice when I'm gone. No, they won't know I'm missing till they pull me out the mystic. Tell the preacher not to pray. There's no angels, we're all
going to capitalize on what they have planned. But look, same here. Jet goes in. Look, same here. Jet goes in, gets one.
Try to stay sober, try to stay clean. Let me when it's over, like a bad dream. Mama doesn't call, sister never writes. Bet you they would laugh if I called to say goodbye. No one's gonna worry and notice when I'm gone. They won't know I'm missing till they pull me out the mistake. Try to stay sober, try to stay clean. Let me when it's over, like a bad dream. Mama doesn't call, sister never writes. Bet you they would laugh if I called to say goodbye. No one's gonna worry and notice when I'm gone. They won't know I'm missing till they pull me
that they have Spud right behind him. Personic does find one on Kiwiberry. Nice and quick, Sushi behind him. Personic does find one on Kiwiberry. Nice and quick, Sushi gets another shot to Raoul. Already 3 to 5. It's looking promising for DGC. It's going to hopefully find themselves around. But a nice one spike. And they aren't quite spread out, Fennel. Both Neo and Cat Lover have gone on their own little ventures here. But it does seem Cat Lover gets found up here. But it does seem Cat Lover gets found up by Spud and gets taken down. Being left in a 1 versus 4. Neo is with Dice as well. Take down Kane, finds the second one to Dice as well. Take down Kane, finds the second one to Miro, finds the third onto Spud. And it just suits them going for the try and go for the early defuse. Does miss. The goalkeeper found his foot into it. He pushed his elbow this time down. He's a wet to find kind of solid in the back, kind of deep. What a long shot and hitting one down at the ready. DGC already at disadvantage. Keeps with the smoke ever so slightly. Don't get the ball very well. Don't try back to the Guns almost goes back crazy. And 15 inch down to Neo in red. Not Neo. Now the Sonic going down to Neo. He waits to find Kane.
I believe DGC probably have a plan in their mind that they'd rather push up 4 people towards speed, get the rotation, and maybe get the advantage.
A lot of advantage coming out. There is something with Sheriff though. And that's going to hit to me that maybe they're saving or not. And that wouldn't surprise me. It would surprise me even mid-range, 5 may even really 5 seconds. Sushi. Trying to put Kane into the nice double, but Kane does quite like that. Cat Lover gets round, 6th round. Nice headshot of Panasonic coming out from the top of here in mid. It was a bit of a crucial pick early on to even up the score, but unfortunately Roll and Kiwiberry say otherwise will find themselves a triple on the Spud as Panasonic gets taken down by Kiwi. Kane though does shut even up the score, but unfortunately Roll and Kiwiberry say otherwise will find themselves a triple on the Spud as Panasonic gets taken down by Kiwi. Kane though does shut down Roll with a nice quick headshot with the Guardian as they figured out their strat, they know what they're doing. Very impressive push here. So the key attacking the defenders find Panasonic as they expected. Unfortunately coming really out the smoke, Kiwi is popping there as they get ready for Neo finds a double on a Sushi Spud. Very fun another. Kane does find one.
Here we're looking at a 3-2 split. Probably it's going to be a mid push inside of DGC, and that is what's happening. So
Or outline holding that, getting ready to hold the angle of the op. Surely can hear the drone, so they know to get ready to be. And find Panadon into the spikes timer. It's not anything you want to see. And we do see Kiwi putting that for their own smokes within the Viper ultimate here. I just didn't think they executed their post part very well.
Tell you what I'm gonna do. Pop open Moscato and throw like a Lambo. Switch lanes, top gear, good pain, no fear.
complex, inferior. Your girl, treasure. Got that movie magic, sink you like the Titanic. Deep into my ocean, all up in your emotion. One life, my time, live free, unwind. Hi-hat, baseline, shine on. Queen of your heart. Whoa, I'm the one that you can't let go. Queen of your heart. Whoa, I'm the one that is in control. Never ever gonna let you go. Never ever ever gonna lose control of your heart. Whoa, I'm the one that is in control, control, control. I'm the queen of your heart. The queen of your heart.
Look, same here. Jet goes in. Look, same here. Jet goes in. Gets one. It is very early aggressive. Right? And Tuba. Jet has been
I'm speaking about you are the queen of mine, girl. You're hotter than every other. Them vanish abracadabra. When you step in the room, you steal the shine. So when I show up, me girl, you act all the time. Take a look on your body, you are shot like a nine. See me, and you deserve all of this. You're smoking like my cannabis. So roll up, I make we roll the skies. Bring your body, come and make a king put it on you. You conquer me, you deserve a crown. You have the right stuff. Me can't get enough. Don't let me go. You have my way to your touch.
Never gonna let you go. Never ever gonna lose control of your heart. Whoa, I'm the one that is in control, control, control. I'm the queen of your heart. The queen of your heart.
Third on
Your heart.
I believe DGC probably has planned in mind that they'd rather push us so people to get the
Never gonna let you go. Never gonna lose control of your heart. I'm the one that is in control, control, control. I'm the queen of your heart. The queen of your heart. I'm the queen of your heart.
Like we were talking, they figured out their strat, they know what they're doing, and they're going for a very aggressive push here. So I think the attack defenders find kind of what they expected. Hello everybody and welcome back to Wolvesden after that amazing first game, and what a banger it was. It was, to be honest, very one-sided and a very interesting way to start the tournament. But now I had a bit of a change up today, so I'm still here, but I'm joined by the amazing Amaru. How are we feeling today?
Hello, Monkey. I mean, like you've mentioned, what a game to start us off. INF absolutely just making a claim as to why they should be the champions of this month. that map against DGC. DGC aren't a bad team, but they looked completely outclassed in that position.
Definitely.
As we now head, though, second map, other side of the bracket, we are going to be looking at who gets to play, who gets the privilege of playing against INF and Akasaya Durag come the semifinals. The map today that we are looking at, N5 versus Tafka. Now, this map looks interesting at Monkey because these are two very high quality teams. Two teams who have come through and really shown dominant showings against their own opponents.
Yeah, 100%. And we go into a bit of an interesting one as we are heading over to Split for, I believe, the first time in a while in Wolvesden, in the streams what we've produced here for you. It's the first time in a long time we've seen Split be picked willingly. And that's very surprising. You don't see that very often. Normally we're used to going to like Haven, Lotus, the occasional Breeze maybe, but Split is not a very occurring map here in Wolvesden.
Absolutely. The Split pick suggests to me that some team here has done prep. Some team here has a set idea that they want to run. They've got set strats. Generally, when you see teams at this level, usually everyone has a Lotus or a Haven in their comp. Its maps have been in the game for a very long time. Its maps are very defined and simple macro. Whereas a map like Split, yes, it's been in the game for a while. Yes, teams probably have some semblance of a strat book, but it's definitely one of the more niche picks like you've mentioned, Monkey. I'm very curious to see which team allowed it to go through, and if so, whether or not it'll work to their favor.
Yeah, 100%. As we do know, N5 are going to be on the defender's side for the first half. So it makes you think, if they've got an idea of what they want to do, like you were saying, either one of these teams, whoever just managed to whittle down the map pool to Split, they must have some sort of idea, because we're not used to seeing Split. We're not used to seeing the regular comps that people run around here. So it's going to be really interesting to see what they do, do you have any any agent specifics that we might see here? Any different trios that we normally used to see in?
Yeah, that's something that I think that teams are gonna have to consider. Split is well known for its massive diversity. You could play the Fnatic style, you could play your Viper, you could play Harbor, you could play a very hyper Paper X style, you could be playing your Jet Rays, you could be playing Solo Sky. Alternatively, you could play the more mid-balance style that we see a lot of tier 3 teams like to use. You think of Boars, you think of Formulation Gaming. Those are teams who really like to utilize the Cypher to take massive map control over towards mid and have teams walking out on the extremities to gain information. Point is, this is a map that has so much skill expression and just personal character that each team can bring to the table. And I'm super curious to see how each team develops and chooses to play to their own strat book.
Yeah, 100%, and that's what makes making this occasion of Split being picked so refreshing. As like you're saying, it's very a personalised map. You can play in different ways depending on your team, different preferences. And now we're going over to agent select. So we're interested in what we see as it's looking very unique to what we usually see. We don't raise, we rarely see Whaley either. And it's going to be interesting, like you were saying, how people different like to see Viper. You did mention, we did see the Sky being mentioned as well. But seeing Razorlocked is quite a unique one. Going for a potential Mirror Raze, Mirror Viper maybe. Okay, we've got some very interesting comps. I've got to say this.
Triple duelist. That's 3 duelists and a Viper. Are we seeing that right? Is Tafco really? Because
I mean,
a bit of context, right?
Yeah, Q ain't quite. It hasn't quite locked it just yet. Okay, no, they're thinking of an Astra. That's a bit more what I'd expect. Is it going to lock it? Sova, yeah, maybe.
Or
I can see a Sova would also work.
A Breach would be interesting.
Astra.
We're just cycling through.
Yeah, they definitely have the proper ponder on this. I mean, obviously it makes sense. I don't think running triple duelist is exactly what you'd call optimal. I mean, obviously it can work, I suppose, but Astra, okay.
Yeah, splitting over to N5's comp, that is the quintessential Paper X comp that we've seen them run a bit. You substitute out the Viper perhaps for the Vise, and what you're looking at with this comp is very hard, fast pushes. You're not looking to get a lot of mid control. You're looking to just execute on towards a site, push and read the opponents on how they're going to rotate, and from there on play your game. If you don't get kills, N5 are going to be in a bit of a struggle bus. Tafka's on the other hand, I have no clue how to analyze.
This is kind of obviously not to sound like I'm offended them or anything, but a bit of a mess of a comp. Like this is all over the place compared to like you were saying with how well the comp is looking for N5, how utilized, and it's a very common comp you've seen before. I can't really say the same for Tafka, to be honest, as this is so odd. I can't say I've seen, obviously, the Viper Rays we're seeing both being mirrored, but I can't imagine this. Is there any synergy amongst these agents, would you say?
Absolutely, there's synergy. You see synergy in between individual agents. You think of the Fade Seas with the Viper nade, you think of the Viper Molly, with the Raze nade, you think of the Viper Molly with the Fade, you think of Astra Sucks, you think of the Waylay Fracture for the information, but just the comp together doesn't quite make sense. Take the Waylay, for example. Traditionally, you would always see Waylay ran with a dive duelist who's able to close the gap and take the fight. That's traditionally your Jet, that's traditionally your Yoru or your ISO.
Jet's the first one that comes to mind in that case, and that's what's surprisingly ain't gone for. Obviously, I guess suppose Rays can get in there using the satchels, but that's not quite the perfect playstyle. They don't get in as quick as you like to say as a Jet could. So, but I can fully agree what you're saying. The individual synergy between agents is great, but as a full team comp, that's where I'm kind of lost.
And I think the reason, the thing that can supplement a bit of context to this would be Tafka and their history. Tafka comes together as arguably the stronger team with firepower. They've got Radiant players in their team, which, although one rank above Immortal, has a big difference, or so I'm told. From the players that you see in these tournaments, the difference between a Radiant and Immortal, it might just be that Tafka think that they just have the aim to be able to dominate, and so they're putting themselves on agents that have those opportunistic abilities to be able to frag and save themselves. We'll have to see, though, if Tafka's Gambit or it pays off here.
Yeah, definitely. And it'll be interesting to see as we're going into pistol round. As we did see in our last match, it was insanely aggressive throughout the entire round, and well, every single round that we saw. The sheer amount of aggression coming up from defenders, weirdly enough, and it seems they're going for a full-on fight in mid, which, to be fair, I do like to see. I do prefer very aggressive play styles, as I find it more interesting, more action-packed. It keeps the blood going, it keeps your adrenaline pumping. But at the same time, as we get later into the game, that's when you like to see people get a bit more methodical and a bit more smarter as they pop their util and as pressure gets higher.
Not a lot of map control so far for Tafka.
No,
They've
not
spent
at all.
30 seconds. They've peeked over towards a mid, They've used the Prowler, and now they've got to start to make a move. The push goes over towards A. There's 3 players stacked towards here, though. This ramp fight is everything to determine the pistol.
It definitely does, and I feel whoever gets his entry pick here is going to be a lot more favoured going into the rest of the round. As 50 seconds down on the clock, time is gradually ticking, and they are going to have to slowly start making moves. We do see the wall come out, but the insane slow reaction coming out from in and there gets them picked off by Ruin. Bai does find Yumi as well with a nice wallbang from Go with the Ghost. And Bai finds another on the C2, already putting him at a 2-5 advantage. But Ruin does get picked off by Down, which is a nice opening pick to try and bring themselves back in, as they are going to want to go for a plant here on A. As the rest of Tafka are very split, as Triple Q does find Down, finds Roxanne. That's a very clean pistol round going over to Tafka.
Yeah, you felt that NF really had the advantage there. 3 players stacked up over towards ramp, but Ruin just suspecting Nani in that corner. And slow reactions, like you said, able to get the better. Ruin gets that first kill, and from there, Tafka now on this buy. They bought light, only Bai really having a Vandal, as the rest of the players come around with sidearms, still very winnable, as NF opt for 2 Sheriffs and a Bandit only.
Okay, I mean, it makes sense, and well, obviously going into our first main buy run, it does kind of tell a bit of a story here of who is you're thinking is going to be the main fragger, and by taking being the sole Vandal. Obviously we do see a Bulldog for Triple Q here, but that just tells me that we've got a much more confident player, being that they did get 2 picks, so their income is a bit higher than the rest. But as Down does find Ruin, does get a nice quick body shot onto him, but just barely misses the no scope from Ruin, having to instantly recall back out of there, which I think is a very sensible play. They don't want to give over a kill too early to N5 here, as they are looking like they're going for a rotate through sewers and looking for A site now, which I think is quite sensible. But N5 are very spread out, with a lot more being focused onto B site than A.
Same push again. This time Nani backs away. It's going to look like a full retake. Nani actually goes for the peek over towards Heaven. You got anything there? Won't be able to do so. So the bomb plant should go down, especially as Cito falls. It's 3 on 5. as it looks to be Taff.
Ooh.
Okay, Taff
Yumi
good.
finds a
Loses the
beautiful
gun.
headshot. Yeah, beautiful headshot with the Sheriff here, but Down finds another Sheriff. Ultimate goes down. Nice marshal pick from Ruin onto Down. No scope, but they are very low, not looking very healthy, so he's looking a bit deadly. Yumi goes for a bit of a spray for the smoke, does not find anyone, but Spike is down and he really needs to make a push. But having such a lack in health pool is where they're going to fall. Both watching the window, big mistake as Mario finds one and Q finds Yumi, still watching the height. And that's another quick round close for Tafka.
Actually works out to their favor for buying such a low buy. They now should be able to actually have a pretty strong response here to N5. N5 doing good to be able to get some guns off their hand if they were able to perhaps pick up that Vandal from buy. A bit more interesting of an eco, but for now, seems not to be the case. Taff opting still to buy low. They're still relying on buy's Vandal. On the other side, guns across the board for N5 looking to get their first round.
Yeah, I definitely, like we did see from our last game, you don't want to give too much of a lead as it puts so much pressure on you throughout the rest of the match. And but Ruin gets caught looking onto the wrong show by Enan with a nice pick on with the Phantom. As they're looking to potentially find Yumi or find another one. Archman does find Zito though in return. Yumi find Bai as well, bringing us down to a 4 versus 2 already. No, sorry. Archman catches me in my words, takes down Enan in return. And this is the most even round we've seen so far, being a 3-3 and no sight is still clear, but we do see them rotating. Mario is on their way to A side, but Q does find Roxanne, not having a clue where Yumi is. As they do make it into the sewers very safely and very swiftly, as the rest of Tafka are making their way to A side, as it is just down single-handedly, having to hold the fort. As the dog doesn't find anyone coming up from Fade, but instantly Archman's there and waiting and ready with a Vandal for the triple kill. And just bringing one, but they do get found out by the dog. Getting ready and to make their way up through, not few sewers, through in the Innovator. But Mario does get the plant, and now it is looking very dire. But Yumi does find one actually onto Archman. Brings into a 1 vs 2 scenario. It is actually looking promising here for N5 as a potential first round for them in this match. But it all comes down to who wins this gunfight now. Mario is having to go for the peak as Mario does hold a nice corner, but Yumi finds another onto Mario, making it a triple. It is now just a one-on-one Yumi vs Q, having to make their way through the blinds and through the setup that Q has set up with the Astra projections. Does go for a bit of a fake, but Q doesn't fall for it. As they do pop this up, and he does go off. Vulnerable coming out. And Yumi's still sticking it, gets halfway through on the spike. He's having to stick with it, but Q, amazing quick peek and taking a nice swift headshot to Yumi. N5 are looking a bit better now. Obviously, Q does unfortunately fall to the spike though in return.
Yeah, I mean that was a round that kind of echoed the pistol round, right? You saw N5 off the initial burst, able to come through, get mid control, actually able to get a pick onto Ruin, but just firepower coming forth from Tafka, able to push forward and just bring the round back, claw it back to an advantage, and ultimately a round win. Now forced onto a bonus, N5 need to stop letting these rounds slip away.
Yeah, 100%. And it's getting to that point as you enter the first quarter, the first third of the first half. That's when you are quite crucial rounds you want to build. You want to try and get as early eco and get it in the best optimal situation. Rosito does peek out just as the wall goes down and does get found out. But they have no idea where Down is. They don't know Down sitting there ready and waiting in the corner with the Sheriff. No, sorry, not the Sheriff though. Sorry, I'm looking at the wrong person, but he does matter as they do go for a peek. No one goes down though, surprisingly, with all the blinds coming out. But NF are looking very aggressive and looking much more confident with how many people they've put on to A side. But Oddman does find Idran, but Ruin. They just walk past Ruin. But no, but is patient, holds down the trigger finger and does not go for it. Is waiting and does find a nice instant pick. Is Down, never checks the corner. And that's why you've got to check your angles. You never know when there's going to be a sneaky waylay sitting in the corner. Q finds Roxanne with their back turned, looking towards the elevator. And it being a 5-2, it's looking very unpromising. As Mario makes their way over to B to put down the spike, put the timer on, and really put N5 in a precarious situation as they're kind of forced to not push up onto height.
A Phantom here for Yumi, the only thing. Zito gonna try and bait, but now just not able to get anything. Archman sits in the smoke. Catch them off guard, they don't swing off timing.
Yeah, they both go one-on-one.
Conversion.
Yeah, going one after another, that was not the best idea, especially in the close quarters. Not obviously, they wouldn't have known that the shorty was ready and waiting for the other side of the smoke. But Ottoman was ready and waiting, had a plan of action, and executed it perfectly, to be honest. And right now...
The fact that just the barrel peeked through as well there from you.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, you could see him just sitting there ready and waiting. You knew for a fact Ottoman had the trigger finger ready, he was shaking. And now finally I'm getting it off. Like, what can N5 do here? As down, beautiful pick with the up onto buy, great opening pick. And this is exactly what they want, taking down one frag, obviously. Currently not top fragging, but still an absolute threat. And down goes the fade ult, Ruin dashes in, finds Roxanne, finds down, gets a nice double kill to make return and revenge buy. As they do look into plant spike very early on. Cena does grab the dog, does get caught, throws out another blind, and Yumi is following up, dashing in, but Inam gets taken down by Ochman. Spike is currently planted, and Sito and Yumi need to try and make their way on the point. It does not matter as Decay is now procced by the fade. Thankfully, it's just making up for it as they are going to have to rotate potentially to height to want to try and retake B. But it's not looking promising as Yumi does have the ult up and is looking to use it with the final knife in arsenal and does find Rune with the single knife. We love to see it. That's a good opening pick. It's looking more promising with two more knives at the availability. But Mary gets taken down by Yumi again. And it's another pick by Yumi for the triple. And down they do pop their own smoke out for just Q in the 1-on-2. He's going for a height push. Does miss a little bit, but does take them down. It's now in a 1v1. But the spike, it goes off and they couldn't. They pushed too late. But my word, what a almost clutch from Yumi.
Sparks of life there from NF.
Yeah.
Yumi putting on a masterclass to try and inspire the troops, but so far you have to think it has been Toph's half. Earlier on in the half, right, Monkey, we made a prediction that perhaps they chose this composition that they have, this hodgepodge, because it just gives them opportunities to frag, gives them opportunities to fight. They are confident in themselves, and Tafka wants to capitalize on that. So far it seems like that hypothesis has been proven true. N5 need something here. They need to find all 5 if they want to be able to at least have an acceptable half.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely feel that's where they thrive. But we see such aggressive plays, and we're looking a bit of an unfortunate split coming out from N5 here as they are committing so many to A side, as they are making a very quick rush. Obviously, but Bai finds one, but Roxanne finds Bai in immediately after, but Mario does get takes down Roxanne in return. Which is really unfortunate as we already lost 2. The entirety of B side is left open now as we do see who does find down on the rotate. C2 fires back the Archman, but it's taken down by Mario in return. And just being Yumi in the 1v3, who to be fair is the best clutcher coming out here. Does find a nice look on the room, but he's left at 5 HP, so not very promising. And does get taken down by Mario in another swift fashion. And we're halfway through the first half of the match, and it's looking a bit dire. I'm starting to get deja vu from our last match we've seen today.
Absolutely. Tafta have looked pretty good, not just on the macro side, but also on the micro. I think that's something that we should also give a bit of flowers to. Have a look at the first few rounds. It was a lot of mid presence going in towards 5 stack over towards A. Round 4, they decided to slow it down a little bit more, play for the default, fake A, go B. These past few rounds, it's been hard B pushed off the back of the ultimate advantage that TAF know they've gathered from winning that bonus, converting the eco afterwards. Tafta are playing a very good tactical game so far on top of their insane aim. And it's making things tough here for N5. I suspect now, Monkey, we have the answer as to which team let Split come through.
Yeah,
Tafta
it's making
really
sense
look
now.
like they're on their home ground.
They know, they know the correct angles. They know exactly how every single time they push on a point, they execute it perfectly every time. And like you're saying, it's making sense as to why Split made it through. And evidently, I think we might have found Davka's map. And it wouldn't surprise me if we do see it again, as currently the game is looking very favoured in their. Just in general, looking for more favoured towards Tafka. Obviously, we can't be early game Timmies here. Any game is you can easily come back from any game. We've all seen those incredible match point all the way back, bring it all the way to overtime, then winning through there. So nothing is impossible. Right now, Tafka are looking at they have a huge advantage, and not just micro and macro like you were saying, but also gunplay as you also brought up. Is their general aim and game sense does seem a little bit better than N5.
Recovering it.
Push up mid here. Challenged here. Inan has to back away. Pushes up towards Vance. Does he go up? Not even faking the rope. So they might suspect him still here. Inan trying to be a hero. Goes back for the re-clear. This is risky. Kai already head on a swivel, but as Ruin dies, that's surely going to cause some impetus. That's surely going to cause someone to fight. And there it goes. Inan falling as well. The rest of the team falls through. It's still a man advantage here for Tafka. They still have mid. 50 seconds left to piece through this endgame. What's the call? The call is the Astral Wall. They push it forward. Trying to hold over towards Heaven, but Raxin trying to make something of it. Archman gets the trade. Only one left on site is Yumi. He's the one who got all those frags. He's the one who we look towards. He can't do it anymore. The bomb's going to be able to come down. Archman and Ultimate as well, and this just might seal the deal. Sito far removed from the action as Taff look for 7.
Yeah, it's looking really. It was so hope was high there, especially with Roxy getting a nice opening pick, then Yumi finding another in return. But just that little bit of extra gameplay and game sense coming out from Archman, incredible play, and popping the ult here. It just kind of seals their fate. I can't imagine Sito is going to struggle here, especially the second they get found out by 1. Instantly peeks through the smoke. Q's not holding quite the angle. Does get a nice pick on the Archman though, but Q is ready and waiting and just looks at the wrong person. I feel if Sito potentially found Q first and then found Archman with a back turn, that could have potentially led to a round win.
Absolutely. That was rounds ago when the bonus was lost, when N5 just weren't quite able to close it out. That's the result of it. Being able to play with so many ultimates, being willing to expend 2 ultimates in a 3-on-3 situation there. Now N5, they might not even get 7-1 Brazil here.
Yeah, it's looking very dire as we're going into round A as the second, third of our half here, and the rocket fuse has come out but doesn't find anyone as they do use it a bit preemptively. Ian does find a nice opening pick onto Ruin, and this is exactly what he wants. Roxanne finds by itself, but Q finds back onto Ian himself. But Yumi gets caught out by Archman as Q finds one as well. Down goes Q, and Sito as well takes down Archman, brings down some breathers as well, but Mario gets a nice double kill with a Phantom. Following up, the Prowler does go up but doesn't find Sito, and they are constantly moving around Rosie. Mario and does get taken down, and Sito finally gets the clutch that they were looking for last round, and they do get the defuse, and N5 finally get themselves a point on the board.
Ladies and gentlemen, there are 2 fundamental laws in Valorant. The first, the fundamental law of timing. When you look away, someone will swing you. The second, the fundamental law of 7-1. No matter how bad it looks, some way, somehow, in 8 rounds, you're bound to pull 1. Sito gets that clutch, and I eat my words. 7-1 Brazil always comes. The airport calls. But now what?
Yeah,
gives them a bit of reprieve here.
He's got 4 rounds
some
left.
guns.
Yeah, got a bit of guns. You got a bit of eco going, and 4 rounds. 4 rounds they potentially win. Bring themselves back in and finds a nice pick opening onto Bai. Runin though in a bit of a situation on the road, but gets taken down by Sito with a very swift headshot. Is this the start of the comeback potentially we've been talking about? And they're finally getting their footing here in this game, but they are looking the wrong way down. You need to turn around. You're looking into the sewer, but you're not looking back into the alley where the rest of Tafka are sitting. As we do see though a very long flank coming up from Archman, pushing rather going through mid, opting for a longer route by A. But everything's quite slowed down after a very hyperactive start to the round. Enan going in, but gets caught off guard as the smoke disappears. Archman takes down 1, trying to bring the team back into this round, and finds another onto Roxanne, but takes down Q. It's looking dire. Archman though, the hero that they didn't know they needed, takes down Mario as well. Rena's into a 3 vs 1, but Archman on for the ace though, but in at 20 HP. It's looking dire, and they have control of the spike. We've been bang in the middle of mid. Yumi instantly finds them out, takes them down, and that's another round over to N5 as they're trying to claw back from this dire start to the first half.
N5, to their credit, able to readjust from the plays that we've seen Tafka use. Tafka ran that exact idea over on, I believe, round 2. It was round 4 rather, where Ruin would go in with the double dash, trying to capture that mid space. N5, they've changed something in there. They're able to hold that mid control. Inan being the hero of that round. And so now, blink of an eye, 2 rounds have been caused by N5. Taft slowed down in their tracks, still very much in their favor this map, mind you. But for the first time, a glimmer of hope, Inan. we got here.
Does find one to buy, but gets taken down by Ruin. A nice opening pick, as Spy just didn't seem to be ready for the Viper. So close, taking the angle. But Ruin, though, taking control of height now, as Q does find Cito, though, with the Sheriff. They seem to go for a bit of an eco round here. Wanted to save, very cheap round in comparison to their previous. But getting 2 opening picks is good, and is exactly what they want. Q finds Yumi as well, down into the 2 versus 4. Down though finds the AWP, takes down Q as well on mid, and is holding the rest of the angles. Does barely miss on Mary, but Roxon 5 versus Osman, evening out the score already, 3-1. But Morley Ruin gets near-sighted, and Roxon with the clutch getting the triple kill. N5 have woken up.
You love the confidence from N5. You love the playmaking that happened there. It looked like it was going to be a moment where they were put under a lot of pressure. They were about to get ecoed. They had lost so many duels to QQQ Sheriff. But Roxon keeps his calm. They go for the backstab. They play their own positions well enough. The operator able to herd all of Tapka over towards A. And from there now, 3 rounds in a row, Tapka, they're starting to feel the grip. They're starting to feel the Noose Titan. This was supposed to be a dominant showing, but now this could just be a 2-round differential.
Yeah, 100%. And honestly, I think if they can get to a 2-round differential, that's the best possible spot they could be in. And going into the second half with a semi-close score is your best opportunity to bring the game back, as the less rounds you give in the first half, the better your odds are going to be going into the swap. But it all comes down to, can they bring these next 2 rounds back? And it's so crucial that they try and find these opening picks here. But Roxon, though, with an insane clutch, hopefully he can do it again. But down with the AWP is a bit of a monster. And Bai jumps in, does find one. Q finds down, shooting him in the back.
How is he alive?
I don't know. I'm so baffled they lived that for as long. But Ruin finds Yumi on the flank as well, bringing it to a 4-2 already. But Cito likes those odds. We've seen the clutch come out before. But Ruin thinking about going for a plant, but decides to swap angle and put it somewhere else. No, decides to change their idea again for the 3rd time. Bilo gets a nice headshot onto Enon, and a bit of damage goes onto Cito with the frag grenade. As Oshman is making a very aggressive push on the height. I'm sure Cito is aware that somebody's making their move, but tries to re-peek it, and it is met with Ochman, but does win the gunfight. Being left in a 3 versus 1, the spike is ticking, is looking a bit dire. Down goes the blind. And they whiff the headshot onto Bai as they get themselves a triple kill. Bringing Taft another round close to the victory, 3-8. Last round of the half. I think N5 do really need to win this if they want to see any light at the end of the tunnel at the end of this match.
Able to claw back there, Taft stopped the bleeding, and kudos to their IGL for calling that round. You saw 40 seconds had passed, Guile was used, a snapshot of how Taft was lined up was provided to N5. The call to have a pullback Astra smoke, to have Bai just go in, the fact he lives is lucky, but it still is a really nice idea to break that winning streak given for N5. Like you mentioned, last round here, 9-3 or 8-4. Big ramifications, especially on such a CT-sided map here. N5 need every single round that they can muster forth if they want to be able to stand a fighting chance as they go to the harder T side.
Yeah, definitely. And as ults are going to get procced for this final round, nobody wants to go in wasting util. Having the Astra ult online to cut the map in half, I think it's going to be very crucial for this final push here. As no doubt, N5 are going to play as safe as possible. No going for any city plays here, as they truly need this round. As the dogfight, Yumi finds a nice opening pick onto Bai with the knife on the point, as they do try and make an aggressive push, and it does fail. And sad, unfortunately, Roxon pitching another blind.
Look at Yumi.
TB, but in and on the flank takes down Q. This is what we love to see. The flank is exactly what they need. Bring us down to a 5 versus 3 already. Ochman is on the flank, does find down though, trying to make a nasty rotate. He's holding a very sharp angle on that point. Ruin just goes for a bit of a spray and pray. Does instant swap weapons for a quick mag change.
30 seconds
but
left.
they can't find any wall bangs, unfortunately. And I think the play here might just be to rotate, as we do see Inan solo on the point, but they do have ult ready, so they can easily put the Viper ult. And immediately Yumi picks off one onto Ruin, finds another onto Mario to make it a triple, and with just 10 seconds left on the map, finds a quadra onto Ochman. And that is the first half getting closed out with a score 8-4 for Tafka.
Switching sides.
It was a nice round of N5, and it could potentially be the start of the comeback they need, but we might just see potentially N5 might just be an attacker-based team here and much prefer the aggression side of the play.
Absolutely, Monkey. We saw it since starting from round 8. It seems like a switch has been flipped on N5. They've looked like they were very scared, very timid initially, but now you saw them take such a massive risk. You saw Inan, the bottom frag, deciding to just push out on A, and it grants them that round here. N5 might just be attacker-sided. Damn what the statistics say. They could just have this side of the map locked down. We'll just have to wait and see. To do so, though, have to get this pistol. A good pistol sets them up here as they decide that the B site's where they want to challenge.
Yeah, definitely. Pistol ground's so crucial for getting that early credit lead, and it's exactly what you want to be able to snowball for future game. But Cedo finds one, Yumi finds another, as the firing squad is up and ready for Tafka make a very aggressive push, and it's clearly shown that Tafka are such an aggressive team. They want to make these plays. They want to replicate what we saw in our first game here today, being so overly aggressive on their opponents, but the rest of N5, they're wanting to go for a B push, it seems. All 5 committing to it. But we do see Bai on the flank, but gets found by Yumi. Another opening pick, bringing us down to a 5 vs 2 already. Aspect does proc the smoke, and they're going very aggressive. Down goes down by Q. Eden finds one and finds 2, and that's a very swift pistol round going over to N5.
Like the idea there from N5, that's just how you expect to play against a team like Tafka, who have shown a willingness to be so aggressive. Think of all the mid fights that Tafka used. They did it over on their pistol round, they did it on the bonus, they did it every single chance that the game got a bit dicey for them. Tafka really favored that mid, and N5 made a good read into that, deciding to double stack up, and it pays dividends. Now, another read coming through, deciding to hit this B site, and Tafka have just so happened to stack over towards A.
Yeah, 100%. And it's interesting to see they've definitely learnt their lesson. They can't go for aggression. Well, I say that. They're going very aggressive, but they're going for a bit of a different push here. But instantly get found out by Ian, and Archman goes down by the Bulldog, but Q does fire back, and that's a free Bulldog for them if they want to pick that up. Runan does find it, and now they got this assault, but it seems B is completely left vulnerable now, and a free taking for N5 as they get a free plant. And now having to go for the retake is going to look a bit precarious for Tafka here, as they're going to have to utilize their entry and very fast movement to get in there and hopefully try and find the pick. I'm mainly looking at Ruin being the only one to fight gun, but down finds Q with the Marshall. Does unfortunately miss, but dive takes him down. Cito finds him back, and Mario trades it back again, taking Ruin, rocking the Bulldog still. Being left in a 2 vs 2 with it just being Roxon left on point, as we do see Yumi holding the high ground. Does TP out. You've got to be careful. You have no idea where Yumi is. You don't know that they're currently sitting on high ground.
Last player standing.
But no, Ruin is aware. Sauces them out. Finds one. Oh, the peak. Oh, the whiff. Unfortunate coming out from Mario. Just barely misses Roxon's head. And that's another round going to N5. Getting much closer to another. Closing this game to 6-8. We're getting even. The score's evening up now, to be honest.
It does seem that way, but a Pyrrhic victory for N5. They spent so much money. You saw a Bulldog, 2 Vandals come through, and now only being able to save 1, they've got to make a hard decision. Do they even want to try and go for this round? And it seems like the answer is yes. They've bought in. A Ghost and a Stinger, the only 2 weak ones. Otherwise, N5 really looking to claim back that bonus that they lost on round 3.
Yeah, definitely. And I think it makes sense as they did lose a bit too much here, but Yumi going for a very aggressive push to hold down the site, not site, sorry, but the potential flank. And we do see Ochman currently sitting down there, potentially thinking of going up, but decides to back off towards A site. As now they are playing more split Tafka. They've learned their lesson to not allow N5 to get a full-blown push on their own and getting a free plant, which I think is the sensible play here. But we can see Tafka are very split. We do see 2 on B, we Viper in mid, and 2 down holding the sewers and the rest of mid in general. 1 holding high for A. As they're looking like Cito and Inan are wanting to push this, as Cito does have the spike. But Archman gets taken up by Yumi. The insta peek off the rope is not exactly what you want to see. Down goes the blind, but misses. Ruin over peaks too far, and Cito finds him. Mario finds 1 though in return, but Cito fights back Mario. We're just down into a 2 vs 4 now. Bai and Q are just really going to have to try and find themselves in a successful retake, as they are both coming from the same angle. They might find Yumi on the high ground, hopefully, with a back turn, but it's not looking likely. as they seem to
Seeker's
leave
available
high
as
ground.
well.
We've got to see, look at Roxanne. Roxanne on the nasty flank coming out from spawn. Down's peeking, does miss though. Yumi gets taken down by Bai, but they're still unaware of Roxanne's whereabouts.
Last player
Goes in for the
standing.
satchel, but misses unfortunately. Down and finishes Bai. And Roxanne, the nastiest flank of the century, coming out of left field and takes down Q. It's looking impeccable for how quickly N5 are turning this around. And it's making me recall N5 do love their attack. They're not the strongest defending team, but my word, can they execute an attack well.
And that's such a good mid-round read. You saw the position that they had where it was a little bit of B control, not a lot of A control, but full mid control. And from there,
Yes.
they read that by having that mid control, they might as well try to go for this heaven peak. They might as well try to go for this crunch. It was a great call. They were able to collapse well. And from there now, Tafka, for the first time in a long time, going to be forced onto an eco. This to tie the round. NF, if you looked at round 8, you would have thought this impossible. They've since won 7 out of the 8 rounds, and now look for their 8th one to tie up the series.
Certainly, Inan immediately opened up a pick onto Ruin. And again, the nasty pick opening up, and Yumi just found a nice pick onto Omen. Down goes, takes down Bai, with Bai taking on Yumi in return. So a nice trade. But Mario, though, very aggressive peak, not having a clue, isn't ready for the bounciness of Down. Does get taken down by the firing squad. And wow, an instant team wipe as N5 even up the score 8-8. And this is the generational comeback I mentioned earlier. You can come back from anything, and after coming from a 7-game deficit, bringing it to an even score already is incredible.
It looks like a completely different team. TAF have not been able to really capitalize off that aggressiveness that characterized them earlier on, right? Now we see a much more passive side of TAF. Really just playing together, really just holding positions, not wanting to lose, and now it's NF with all the wind in their sails.
Shadows traveling.
Yeah, 100%. It was like I was saying, they definitely seemed so much more confident on attack. They had some a few moments. They did look like Tafka were extremely seemed much more confident on defense, which is kind of contradicting how we thought this game would play out. Like, you have a good few defense rounds, but you think they had amazing defense, and you'd really think that when it comes to it, they'd be exceptional on attack, but they did okay. And when it comes down to it, N5 are just putting them in their place now, winning so many rounds, even in the score this quickly. It's surely Tafka's stressing. I would be in this situation, and you hate to see it when after having a 7-round lead, now being completely tied up. You've got to imagine what situation Tafka are in mentally.
Seekers get popped here. It looks to be an A hit, pushing forward. This is the first time it's just been a dry swing, and now Bai getting the big first kill. That's all they require. Look at this rewrap all the way over towards heaven. All 5 players. They're allowing the bomb plant to go down. They're looking to play for the retake, looking to play for their ultimates. The showstopper on Bai, centerpiece of this whole retake pool. Is there anything to shut him down? Yumi seeks answers, seeking to try and hold up here. They're pushing forth now, and Bai doesn't pop the shot, doesn't pop the ultimate yet, just going through. Ruin. That's a nice shot. Here comes the ultimate. Here it goes, and now they clear out the rest of sight, but they've given up heaven in response. Roxanne, he got a free K here minutes ago. Can he do it again? Knows they're off the bomb, keeps going for the tap. The Astral Wall gets invested here, makes it go from bad to worse. Roxanne, do you dare? Roxanne, where are you going? Roxanne goes for it, but it's too little, too late. Bai gets the defuse, and just as things tie up, TAF strive ahead once more.
They seem to have woken up and realised, you know what, we can't play as defensive as we'd like. Even though our aggression did fire back on us in the first few rounds here in the second half, it evidently is what works. Rushing them on point, catching them off guard is how NF just crumbled. But I can't say it might work all the time. NF evidently can adapt extremely well. We did see it on their defense. But when it all comes down to it, how easily can they execute their attacks now? Now it seems Tafka are starting to adapt and start to suss out what their game plan is going into each attack round. Yeah, Ruin's looking for something.
Okay,
Does
gets
decide to
away.
dash out. I think that is sensible. I don't think they were going to win that gunfight, being what, a 3 versus 1. Not exactly favourable, but they are still holding it as Q does find down, rotating around to B site. As we do see Inan on their own pushing A, looking to get control of the point, and knowing that nobody is there, they decide to rotate through sewers, and I think that's very sensible. as we can see, Tafka are so much more invested in holding mid and holding B. They need to start moving, but Inan does find Mario, and there's no defense left on A. As out comes the ult. Ochman ready and waiting for Inan as the smoke closes in, ready to engulf them. But hold on, but Inan finds one as by, runs straight into the smoke, completely unaware, but Ochman finds one back. Yop is ready. Roxon takes down Ruin though. Ochman getting the health back as the K's recovering. Brennan's a 3 versus 2. It's looking a bit dire. Spike is down on A site, and it's not exactly where you want the position you want to be in, as smoke is going to be going down very shortly, as there it is, but they don't have a clue where Sito is sitting behind the box. We do see somebody on elevator as well, ready to come up the ropes. As the wall goes down once again, they're now trying to suss out where the people are holding their angle, trying to defend the spike. Going right in the middle. Sito goes for a very aggressive push, finds one, but they are going for the defuse in the smoke, but Yumi catches them off guard and takes down Q, evening up the score once again 9-9. This is such a back and forth game now.
Inan, the unspoken hero there, to have the gumption, the balls to go forth and just walk out through A, catches everything off guard. We saw spices of this over on round 12 when he single-handedly won them the round by pushing out from A in towards sewers. He's done it again. Tied up game now. And Monkey, you told me this was the outcome 30 minutes ago. I would have laughed at you. Now we've got a serious ball game on our hands. We
thought this was going to be an absolute stomp with that 7-0 lead that Tafka had, but N5 have brought themselves back to life, called the emergency services to revive them, and now they've got the game in a back and forth ballpark style, going back and forth, trading round for round, but it really depends who can snowball, as all they need is a few more rounds to prevent overtime. Obviously, nobody wants to go to overtime, nobody wants to get that extra stress and under pressure. So whoever takes these next few rounds, it's going to be crucial for their victory and to move on to our semi-finals. But QQ is looking for a bit of a high angle here, holding very aggressively on B. Same with the rest of A. They're holding much more aggressive angle this time around with a lot of control, looking towards mid and A side, as that seems to be where N5 prefer to play, as the firing squad we can see is lined up ready for they're expecting an aggressive peak. But it seems Tafka have finally learned from their mistakes.
40 seconds now.
Yeah,
Tafka, just by standing still, have burned a lot of NF's time. This is supposed to be their advantage round. This is supposed to be where they're able to just win off weaponry. And oh, Inan doesn't suspect it, but able to get that kill over towards Ruin. It's a from Mario, and now the site opens up. Now there's time, but still the pressure's on. Mario in the corner. Was he spotted? No, he wasn't, but there's still someone to cover, still there for the trade. Bai can't get the kill either. And a round that was filled with potholes, pit traps, and dangers falls just right for NF. For the first time in 19 rounds, it's N5 who look closest to the finish line.
It's impeccable how this game's turned around so quickly, and N5, they clearly must love attack, and it's starting to make me think, could they have picked Split? Because they are looking, in my opinion, even stronger than what Tafka did on their attack. And it is looking much more like they may have gone for the split pick here.
It's amazing how much a side can define your whole map. And right now, NF are showing it in droves. Big swing round here. Ults available on both sides. You're looking at Ruin's ultimate in particular. That Waylay ult, that Spectral Cultural Divide hasn't quite made much of an impact, and now Ruin, the one to be tested here over towards Garage. There's 5 players here, a Zac coming forth. Sito doesn't spot out Ruin's still in the corner, but now shows his hand. It's just a straight brawl, straight duel. Ruin able to get out of dodge, but now stuck in the corner, and he won't be able to get out with that ultimate, so now it falls. Still available is Downs. That's the one now to look. The swing ultimate, the big impact play, as this B site still seemed to favor target. By spotted ahead there of Inan. And Ochman as well, just a dead man lurking, and now he falls. 50 seconds left, 3-on-3, no longer feeling safe in this. They just have to go down. That showstopper able to land that first kill. So okay, the site opened. The heaven smoke comes forth, and this bomb plant should be able to come through. Ochman forced away by a great Molotov. Bomb comes down, Roxon, but the flood here is imminent. TP's away, down a third kill now, and it's QQ. 1v3 needed, cannot do so. NF win out a pivotal round and are just 2 wins away from closing out this map.
it's incredible just how well they are executing this. And it makes you think, how did we get to this point? Because at the start of this game, like you were saying, we're eating our own words as how dominant Tafka did look, and what changed in there to wake up. They obviously won a couple of defense rounds. They've won primarily all these rounds in the second half, aside from one. What happened between halves? What happened in the break? Something's definitely awoken within them. But out comes Ottoman's ultimate, looking for a very aggressive defensive play here. Tafka want to try and get another round or two off them, try and get themselves to overtime. But he's looking very dire as going for a bit of an aggressive push. They do have the judge in hand, so a very close range brawler Ottoman's opting for here, as they are going for a save round, a bit of an income round here, as they're all rocking the sheriffs aside from Ottoman, which I think is sensible, because right now you want to save as much money as you possibly can, potentially going into a match point next round if you cannot clutch this one out. But going for very aggressive plays here, they seem to go in for a full rotate round to A side. As Q goes for a peek, but gets taken down by Enan with the Outlaw. Phantom, straight headshot onto Ruin. Finds that's a second pick already, and it's not looking great. 45 seconds on the clock as Spike is now getting planted by Cito. Right in the middle once again, where they love it. Right in the center where everyone can see. Yumi finds another with a Phantom, taking down Mario. And Enan does a double kill on the Outlaw, bringing themselves to match point. What can I say? This immaculate gameplay has brought them back from the depths of hell to bring themselves so close to victory, one round off to making it into the semi-finals.
On round 7, Tafka took a timeout, having won 7 in a row. At that point, you could think that they were smiling and jubilant about their chances. You have to wonder, are they smiling now? 3 chances here for N5. Tafka, off the back of that eco, still can't afford a full buy. They've lost so much here, and they've lost even more just as the round begins. Enan with that Outlaw is devastating, desecrating Tafka here. Ruin going for a peek, Ruin trying to be a hero. Gets the information, backs away, is mid, looking like it's going to determine the round.
Yeah, it's looking very dire here. Yumi's going in, does have the knives at the ready, the ultimate that they have at their disposal right now. And honestly, we've seen Yumi pop off so many times, but unfortunately, Mario just flying down as they are going for a nasty rotate. Getting shot down in the back is not exactly where you want to be in as we go into your match point here. Ruin finds another, Yumi goes in for very aggressive push. Roxon finds one, finds two from Ottoman as well. Cito finds Q. Mario though does find another, and it's all over. N5 with the incredible comeback of the century against Tafka, bringing themselves to the end of it all. Moving on to the semi-finals. Wow, what a game.
N5, the underdogs, who looked to be down and over, pull off one of the most unbelievable comebacks at Wolvesden. Honestly. And they end in probably one of the most epic fashions.
They definitely
Take a bow, N5.
Honestly,
take a great rest. You deserve every bit of that win.
Yeah, I mean, they don't get much of a rest, to be fair. They only get a little while while we were on break. Well, it depends if we cover their game next or not, but they might just go straight into it. And what can you say? The comeback of the century, down 7-0, getting a couple rounds on defense to bring themselves back, give themselves a little bit of life, and it seemed to more or less sweep Tafka on the end as the hard swap. And what can you say? Evidently, this just proves N5 love their attack. They're so much more confident. They go straight in for it, and honestly, just incredibly well played. But then again, you've got to give credit where credit is due. Tafka did play exceptionally. Like we did say, they had an incredible start to the game. But as they went on, the stress must have piled on. They started to crumble. We saw the cracks, and the mistakes just kept piling on and piling on. And unfortunately, that's just what happens in Valorant. If you allow that snowball to get going, sometimes it gets too big to stop.
And absolutely, the nerves, the stress, whatever it may have been, the end result remains the same. N5 will move on to the Elite 8 as they look to continue to vie for the crown here. And I mean,
yeah.
Monkey, while we're at it, I mean, this was a game with many players, with many star moments. Do you have an MVP and a specific player you'd like to shout out? Let's hear it, Monkey.
Not too sure here, honestly. There's a few options, I feel, but when it comes down to it, You know, that it's actually quite a hard one to decide, especially with how incredible with the plays from every team and both teams and all the players were so incredible. But honestly, I think my MVP, weirdly enough, I'm going to give it to Roxanne personally. I feel Roxanne played exceptionally well, which is a bit surprising, I know, but like they had some incredible clutches. The Omen smokes were incredible, setting up their team, and it's like you got the util, the amount of value they got with those Omen smokes were incredible, and I do think they're a bit of an underappreciated MVP. But who would you say yours was for that game?
Absolutely. Me personally, I think I have to give flowers to Inan or Nani, the Viper player for N5, to be 2-13 or something along those lines, to be at the very bottom of the scoreboard and to still have the strength and the bravery to go for some of the plays that they did, to take some risks, take those timings, and to come alive, to just swap the momentum over and really be a key asset to the comeback. Probably one of the main reasons why that comeback even began in the first place. If you think back to that crucial round where Inan walked up towards A, managed to get the backstab, placed the Viper's Pit in towards CT spawn. Just little things like that you don't quite see in the statistics. The story, the rise and fall, that's why I'm giving Inan my MVP for this match.
Honestly, yeah. Inan had an awful start, just like the rest of N5, but they made up for it in their attacking round, and it was incredible plays coming out for them. But after that, we've got an exciting semi-finals match for you here very soon. But before we shoot over to a quick break, I've just got to say a very huge thank you to our sponsor today, ExitLag. And if you're serious about your Valorant climb, and that connection just isn't quite making it, it's holding you back, we'd advise you to invest in ExitLag, as they've partnered with us to give us an incredible deal for us here today. If you purchase their annual plan, you will get 50% off plus 3 months entirely for free, and that's over an entire year. Incredible routing for half the price, and if you used our promo code Wolvesden, WOLVESDEN, at the checkout, that will give you a lovely 50% off and exactly what you need to help you climb. Bear in mind that extra bit of Discord, a free month of Discord Nitro is only valid for new users. So please do invest, and if you're so serious about your climb, just like everyone here at Wolvesden, trying to get to the pinnacle and improve like everyone else, do invest. And thanks again to ExitLag for sponsoring the stream. And on that note, we'll quickly shoot over to a short break, and we'll see you very shortly for our semi-finals. Down, nice open hit. Try and put themselves back in, as they are going to want to go for a plant here on A. As the rest of the attack are very split. As Duke dribbles, he does find.
Same push again. This time out backs away. He's going to look like he's actually over towards Heaven. You got anything there? Won't be able to do so. So the bomb plant should go down. Heaven, you got anything there? Won't be able to do so. So the bomb plant should go down, especially as CISO falls. It's 3 on 5, and he looks to do tap.
He finds a beautiful headshot. Yeah, beautiful headshot with the Sheriff here, but down finds another Sheriff. Ultimate goes down. Nice mark pick for Ultimate. Down single-handedly, trying to hold the 4 as the dog doesn't find anyone coming from fade, but as a potential first round for them in this match. But it all comes down to who would just go right now. Maybe someone goes for the previous round. He does probably a nice quarterback for it. He does go off, vulnerable coming out. But he's still sticking and gets halfway through on the fight. It's having a skill with how many people they put on to A side, but Oscar does find Imogen, but they just walk past Ruin. But no, but is patient, holds down the trigger finger, does not go for it. Is waiting and does find a nice instant pick. Is down, never checks the corner, and that's why you've got to check your angles. You never know when there's going to be a sneaky waylay. Sit, not push hard, push high.
Phantom here for you. Zito will try and bait now. Just
Sitting there ready and waiting. He knows what's that on. Had the trigger finger ready to take him. And now funny how what can N5 do? I think opening hit. And the second one taking down one frag. Currently not top frag, but still an absolute threat. And down to play on Ruin with the single 9. You love to see it as a good opening pick. At the Mary gets taken down by Yumi again. Taken down by Yumi again. That's another pick by Yumi for the triple. And down they do pop their own smoke down. With just Q with the 1-on-2. He goes for a high push. Does miss it up, but a bit of an unfortunate split.
head on the stick, but it doesn't die. That's really going to cost them the impetus. That's really going to cost someone a fight. And there we go.
Mario gets a nice double kill with a Phantom. Following the Prowler just go up and down to find Tito, and they are completely run over Mario.
Got some guns.
Yeah, 4 bit gun. 4 rounds of potential brings us back into fun night, opting for a longer route by A. But everything's quite slowed down after a very hyperactive start to the round. Enan's going in, hyperactive start to the round. Enan's going in, but gets caught off guard as the smoke disappears. Osman takes down 1. Trying to bring the team back into this round. And when it's looking dire and they have control of the spike, being bang in the middle of mid. Yumi instantly finds much in their favour this map.
For the first time, a glimmer of hope.
If I slip into the ocean, swallow me up in one motion, though. Seize my queen, I show devotion. Where's my lifeline, Mr. Bosa? I ain't ready to let go now. I ain't ready to let go. I ain't ready to let go. I ain't ready to let go now.
Does damage to know that once the fight has altered, using out the floor already freaking
Ready to let go.
Does damage to know that once the fight has altered, using out the floor already freaking one.
Ready to let go now.
Brian jumps in, does find one, Zito like the Lord, he's the front to number 4. Thinking about going for a path of touch, the slot angle and hit it somewhere else, no touch. Very aggressive push on the fight, really Zito is where that somebody can get moves, making their move. But they keep it, and it's met, Oscar does win the gunfight. He's not going to lose this one, the fight is quickly, he's looking at the Dire, down to the line. It's good on the fire with the knife.
If I slip into the ocean, swallow me up in one motion, though. Seize my queen, I show devotion. Where's my lifeline, Mr. Bosa? I ain't ready to let go now. I ain't ready to let go. I ain't ready to let go. I ain't ready to let go.
finds Q with the Marshall. Does unfortunately miss it, dives it down, Cedric finds him back, and Mario gets raised with back against high ground.
Last player standing.
But no, but Ruin is aware, susses them out, finds one. Oh, the peak. Oh, the in general. One holding high for A. And it looks like Cito and Inan are wanting to push this. As does have the spike. Does have the spike. But Arsenal is the instant off the road.
Doesn't pop the shot, doesn't pop the ultimate yet, just going through. That's a nice shot. Here comes hold up here. They're pushing forth now and by. Doesn't pop the shot, doesn't pop the ultimate yet, just going through. That's a nice shot. Here comes the ultimate. Here it goes. And now
Hello everybody and welcome back to Wolvesden after a very short break, and coming off an absolute banger of a game. We've got another banger up here coming to you very shortly with N5, who we've just watched come back from the depths of hell with an amazing comeback on their attacking rounds, and then against Infernal, who we saw in our first match of today with an incredible stomp 13-1 against DRR. How are we feeling about this matchup going to this next game, Amaru?
I mean, Monkey, you've pretty much described it as is. Who would win? The team with the most dominant showing on Breeze that we've seen probably of this entire month, or the team who's made the most amazing comeback that Wolvesden has seen, perhaps since its existence, perhaps since its inception? That's what we have faced up against us here today. Both teams have experienced elation. Both teams have been pushed through and have really shown the reason, shown why that they deserve to be here at our Elite 8. But unfortunately, one of these teams are going to have to go to the lower bracket, and I just cannot wait to see how this goes.
Yeah, because you can't really, like, in some games you kind of, if you know the teams well enough, you can kind of say, yeah, they're looking a bit stronger, they're more likely to take this. But with how incredibly strong we've seen both these teams today, I can't really make a prediction on who might win. Well, because both teams, we did see Infernal are incredible on defense and attack, and N5 are not as strong as defense, but they're impeccable on their attacking rounds with how good they can execute their rushes. So you can't really make a prediction on who's going to take what side, as we do know N5 are starting on defenders' side once again. So maybe they're looking to pull out the same strat of take a couple rounds on their defense, but then all out send it on their attacking rounds and make another incredible comeback. But it really depends, don't it?
Yeah, like you mentioned, I think this game is a really big coin flip. We don't really have a good way to gauge how well these teams are. You've seen on the side of Infernal, they didn't really get challenged by Divinity. No offense, Divinity just had really good macro, but at the end of the day, it didn't quite matter because Neo is a god and Neo hits his shots.
Yeah.
On the flip side, you see N5, right? Like on one hand, like they looked red hot in the last few rounds, winning the past 13 finishing past 14 rounds out of 15 rounds, I believe it was. But then on
Yeah,
the
they
flip
only
side, you also
they gave
see
one
that
round. They gave 1 round in their whole attacking side, and that was just a bit of a slip up and a nice clutch out from Tafka. So it really depends. Like,
Right.
you're going to be looking at the star players, like you were saying. Neo, primarily from Infernal, we saw they were such a dominant force of nature on Breeze. But as we are going to Pearl, it makes you think, are they going to pull out the same structure? It's a very different map from what we've seen from both before. Breeze being a polar opposite, more or less, as Pearl's much more compact and much more boxy-like, rather than very linear. So it's going to really depend on how do they adapt their comp, as like we did. We see N5 were very synergized with their composition, along with Infernal were on Breeze. So do you think we might see any different setups coming into this?
I think the pick of Pearl is a bit less of the story that we saw prior of, oh, this is one team's pocket pick. This is Breeze that we probably expect INF to do because no one actually plays it. This one reads to me that it's just the map that both teams kind of like. Just traditionally, Pearl has always been a map that in EMEA hasn't gotten a lot of traction. Ever since Fnatic used it as their permaban way back in 2023, it always feels like EMEA has been one step behind, and by proxy, Tier 3 has never really picked up to Pearl as a favored map. That being said, it's still something that I think most teams just kind of have as, like, in the map pool, they run it as, they float it as their second map pick, their second ban. And that's kind of showed here. If you have a look at the veto, both INF and N5 have decided to ban, respectively, maps that the other team had a really strong showing on.
Yes,
so
they did.
this Pearl read to me screams that we're looking at someone just coming forth, trying and punting for something. This is probably going to be a lot more like a ranked game than it is a much more professional team
Yeah, more
play-style
likely.
environment. Yeah, so I'm very curious to see how this goes.
Yeah, we do see Kiwiberry putting out the Astra once again. We did see this on Breeze, and it worked very effectively to some of our surprise here. As we do see another Cypher Jet. Neo going on the Jet for this time round, opting out of the Chamber pick, which I think makes sense. But it's interesting to see what N5 are going for. They've kind of swapping up their comp a little bit, taking down on the Jet instead, and Roxanne going for the Astra pick instead of the Omen to kind of mirror match here. And I think it's very sensible, but Infernal do seem a lot more confident in the comp they're wanting to run here.
Absolutely, and you would think that because this is both of these teams are running very traditional comps that we saw being used over in Masters London. Have a look at that. That Phoenix has been a mainstay in the Tier 1 scene for a while now. You think back to EG in 2025 when Potter started running it. You think back to the Harbor Viper meta back in 2023 when Loud tried to implement a little bit of Phoenix alongside to flash through the Harbor and Viper walls. Now, though, as Phoenix has started to get buffed and initiators have been nerfed, Phoenix is the primary pick. We saw it picked on basically every single time that Pearl was played. You're going to be looking at Yuumi and Raul to take initiative, to really try and take control of that A main orb or that B main orb, depending on whether they're attacking or defending. Whoever builds the most ultimates and whoever can just throw their body on the line the most for their team is bound to be a huge factor in who comes out on top when the half is all said and done.
Yeah, certainly. And obviously, like we've been saying here, we're talking about the team comps, but then looking at the actual team's play styles themselves, we know that they love aggression. Both these teams are so aggressive. Mainly Infernal normally on their defense. We saw they were basically running down DRR out of the blue, and there's nothing much they could have really done in return against Divinity. But NF has taken the defense side. We know they do like to play a bit passive. They do go for those odd picks. They normally like to hold mid, which is very confident and honestly quite well. It does prevent a lot of crossing over between the points. But it makes you think, how aggressive are they going to want to be, as like you were saying, with Phoenix being probably a main stake in so many comps these days, so many maps, especially on Pearl. Both teams are going to utilize that to their advantage, and I can see a lot of aggressive plays coming out in this series.
Yeah, and speaking of aggression, I think players that you really have to look out for, Raul. Raul on that Jet last time that they played against Divinity GC was very aggressive. Always the one to take the initiative, always the one to walk down, always the one faking first contact. Now, admittedly, he is on that Phoenix. He is trying to play cello to Neon One's violin. Neo, by no means a slouch in of himself, but the more traditional, conservative kind of chamber playstyle that we saw worked for him. And so, you're really looking at Raw to pick up the slack despite not being on the favored role to be that spearhead for INF's success. And so I'm really looking towards Raw to see whether or not he can replicate that magic that we saw early on, whether or not he can do it on that Phoenix, not on his main comfort of the primary duelist.
Yeah, definitely, I fully agree. But as we're getting into Pearl now, it makes you think where they wanted to play. We're looking at the map here. We can do see Infernal are wanted to go for a very aggressive push onto A. Meanwhile, N5 are wanting to get control over the mid again, which makes a lot of sense for their play style. We saw this a lot in our last game. But they do, it seems Infernal, they do just want to full send it onto A, and I think it's not the worst idea, going for a full rush and try and get those aggressive picks, and I'm all for it. I want them to get as much as they can done, try and get that early income. And we're going to finally see as the Astra blinds are all going out, and they are making a full rotate around to A, so it seems we're going to have an all-out brawl on A. Who's going to find their first pick? Down, or being left at 8 HP as Roxanne does take down Neo in return, but everybody's had their health chunked as everybody's running away. Kiwiberry at 10, we did see there. Raw and Cat Love have also been extremely low, but Sito's nice and healthy in the back line, who's going for a bit of a rotate back through mid, and we do see Enan kind of holding B solo once again. We've seen this a few times, but Neo going down super early, who we consider the main fragger for Infernal. It's not the best opening start, but Sito waiting behind the doors, looking to be found out, but they seem to know that they might be pushing through mid, decides to back up and hold a very sharp corner as Wexio is going for a bit of a push now. Or Roll finding the blind, does able to back up so he can't be taken down by Yumi. Sito ready, does spot Wexio though, is going for a bit of a flank, not being fully aware of where they might be. He does take down Wexio with a shot into the back of the head. Calavalo takes down, as a nice trade opening up, trying to get themselves on the point. They're going for the pump, but Roxanne does find Raw. Roxanne finds a third, and Yumi clears up, taking down Kiwiberry. And a very convincing first round, pistol round going over to NF.
Something we didn't highlight earlier on in the pre-match breakdown was the difference between Cat Lover's Fade and Sito's Sova. And right there you saw why most teams decide to run that Sova, why Sova is such a prominent pick despite the amount of utility Fade has. That shock dart, the amount of chip damage it did on that pistol round was a godsend for N5. And now they're being able to win it out. We see the traditional buy. We're looking at down to try and get picked over towards mid. They're trying to contest for this orb, but INF don't want to let this go.
No, they don't, but instantly going for a push. Neo and Roll find Yumi, but they do take a lot of damage in return. Out comes the shock dart, forcing them back. As we do see the Roll taking that ult orb, trying to get a little bit closer to run it back, and it's exactly what Phoenix wants to do, get that ult, go in and try and get as much value as they can, playing as aggressive as possible. They do leave the spike in spawn, which is very sensible, and just in case that you take any casualties after that aggressive push. But down, takes down Wexio with the Outlaw, and we do see Kiwiberry also making a bit of a push up, but it's very dangerous considering they only have a pistol to their name, and battling that with an Outlaw is a very risky play. Roll decides to unpeak one of the doors, just as Roxanne is potentially thinking about it. Does find Cat Lover though, does take a little bit of damage though with the pre-fire. We just see Neo is very, very low on health in fact. It's not looking great. Down goes the eye, it gets taken down immediately by Enan. And the eye to prevent it, it does get one nice bit headshot. Quick spray with the Spectre. Double kill for down though, the Outlaw on B. And Enan does finish off Neo. Wow, they're looking very confident on their defense, and this is what we're talking about. They are exceptional on attack, but their defense is not to be laughed at.
Absolutely. You see here, just not a lot. You see here just being saved by the Bell without N5. Their initial idea didn't quite work out. Trying to go for that, trying and put Yumi alone over towards A main to grab the orb. He gets challenged. Raw now able to develop the ult off the back of that, but just unable to get that around INF because they didn't have flashes, didn't have anything to really break the tension. Now on these guns, you're looking to see if INF can make right the wrongs of the past two rounds. And it's fast, same thing again. The kills go their way, and Sito gets a spam. He gets a collat, and just like that, Sito, every time they go A, he's enough to shut them down. forced away. INF have no say on this A site.
No, they don't. Infernal having to back out immediately as Neo obviously went down with that amazing collateral, taking down rolls, running it back as well. Losing the ult so early on into the round is a bit crucial. As no doubt that was a part of their game plan for their attack. They are going for a long rotate, potentially pushing through mid, looking for maybe going through the backside of A or B. As they are scouting out, we do see though Cat Lovers going for their own little push here, potentially gonna find Cito through the waters, but down going for a very aggressive push. But Roll instantly picks them off with a nice headshot with the Vandal. And it's exactly what they're wanting, to get slowly chip away at NF as they make their way. It looks like they're wanting to go for B side this time round. But they now they've taken down Neo, the absolute monster that they
30 seconds left.
They don't have to worry about it. As Neo is putting him on the leash, knowing what he's been able to do in their previous game. Really is a sensible play. Down goes the Fade Eyes, but it instantly gets taken out by Ian once again. They're locked onto these, runs through the fire, sprays down Wexo, but instantly gets fired back onto Kiwiberry, trading once again 1-for-1. It's slow looking die, out comes the Aldrome, but Kiwiberry's going for the early plant. Does get it down, but Cito does take down Roll. They go for a peek, but Yubi finishes him off. Catlover finds one, but Yubi takes on Catlover in return. And that's another round going over to NF on their defense.
And 5. That was a great bonus round. It was a bit lucky. Cito just continuing to be a problem. INF have tried to push the timing, push the envelope on this A hit by just holding W, but Cito's shots and his spams are just enough timing to be able to give them that advantage, suppress them off this A side. INF, if they want to be able to make this work, if they want to be able to gain control of this orb, they can't just keep going on this same timing. Otherwise, Cito is more than happy to punish time and time again.
Yeah,
Updraft invested there from Neo. That was a misclick, surely.
Tactical win spawn updraft. Tactical. It was part of the game plan, surely. But down comes the Molotov, cutting off their attacking. Rising early on, getting a tiny bit of damage is what you like to see. Look, Cat Lover already losing so much HP so early into the round. That's going to put them out of the misery. But Wexo finds a nice pick up to Enon with the Sheriff across the long side of B.
I got the
and that's going to allow them to open up B side a little bit as they're going for a very long rotate. And we do see Neo carrying a spike also heading over there. So he's trying to cut off vision as much as they can, preventing down from finding anyone with that nasty outlaw. Misses the recon bolt. Location has been found out, but they do get another blind death, thankfully, to prevent them from going back on the instantly though, misses both shots. Wexo takes him down. Kiwiberry fires back on Cito, and it's looking like Infernal finally found their round to win as Roxanne gets a
That's the bomb.
pick onto Neo. That's Spike. Spike going down in mid is so crucial of a pick, and this is where Infernal potentially gain control back. In next, so Roxanne finds another one onto Kiwiberry. As Cat Lover's making a way to the flank. Hold on, Cat Lover does whiff the headshot, and Roxanne takes another pick with the Vandal, a triple kill, bringing them down to a 2 vs 2 already, but gets taken out by Wexo. But he's only on 10 HP, and he's looking dire as Yumi though, so close to getting that ult online, getting one pick, and they can get the run it back for a little bit more survivability. As they are going for a very fast rotate for A. Yeah, you can see Roll is backing them up. Moving as a pack now, Infernal, as they need to decide which side they want to go for, and it's looking like they're going to land on A. Meanwhile, Yumi is still only holding B side on the road, not knowing where they are, but they've got to rotate now. Time is ticking, and then surely they understand the spike is on the other side. Yes, they do. Finally, they're making a break for it. Wexo is living on a prayer, though, while Roll is full health. So they're more or less in a 1v1. Yumi does take down the camera, but it does get located by the dart, so they now know where Yumi is coming from, and it's not looking great, not promising, but they still have the util up and ready. Both Phoenixes have it all up, but Roll does have the ult, unfortunately. There's a tripwire, goes down, out comes the wall. Going for a bit of a fake. There goes the Molotov, but they were thinking about sticking it, but he got too cocky with it. Out finds one, but barely misses, and that's a quadra kill for Wexo, and the Infernal finally get themselves a point on the scoreboard.
That was a round that just came about due to Infernal's star power. They came about due to Wexo being able to get a great 4K. Yumi, a nice idea and a nice try to try and split the difference. But Wexo is faster with it, and that's a great round for them to be able to pick up. Good thing to point out as well, INF, you got to remember, Raw used his Phoenix ult round 3. He's got it again now in time for round 5. He's charged up those 6 ult orbs in 2 rounds, and that's the power of Phoenix. That's the macro play that you're expecting you need to be able to catch up with. So far, he's only going to be able to ult the first time. We'll have to see if he's able to continue to keep up with the pace that Raw has shown so far.
Yes, certainly. And as we do see Infernal go for a very aggressive push through mid, Kiwiberry is ready, holding the flank, knowing somebody's going to come from there. And continue to hold it, knowing Eden's potentially sitting there. They want to be careful of that push. And they want to be able to take over anyone coming for it. But they go for a very aggressive using running it back to their advantage. But Yumi whiffs, unfortunately, gets taken down by Cat Lover as they make it a very aggressive outwards. But the judge finds Kiwiberry with the barrel to the face. Wexio does take him down in return, almost getting cut out of, although living on a prayer on 8 HP. There's the on, but unfortunately down just barely misses. Very unfortunate, and having to dash out. We do see Shotgun does come out. Cat Lover gets the plant. It's exactly what they're looking for. Infernal are finally starting to look more confident as the firewall is up and blocking the line of sight of Cito. Without the blind on the side first, Wednesday is finding get a bit of damage with Cito. Find a nice pick with Sheriff. Down goes the Shotgun again. A bit more damage on the Cat Lover, but it's taking down triple kill for Cat Lover. Roxanne takes down Neo. Being in a 1 versus 2 now. But unfortunately, Cat Lover gets a nice quadruple kill in return, getting themselves idling themselves with Wexio, bringing us to another round and already evening out the score a little bit in the first half. And this is looking polar opposite to how we watched both of these teams' first games, with them both being so back, like either dominant or back and forth early on. It's nice to see a bit even score, nice early.
These games are going down to a hair. You have to think, if E9 gets a better spray, he manages to kill Wexio, if Down's able to hit that op shot, if Raw was able to turn over towards the right side on Secret, these games are going down to the wire here.
It does seem the case. Neo though does find Down nice and early with the Outlaw, and we've seen Neo's a monster when it comes to these marksman weapons, especially that op. And I'm sure they can't wait to get themselves hands on one once they get their eco a bit more balanced. But you just have to place a bit of a tripwire and then go for a bit of a rotate, which I think is sensible, as they need to back up their feet, knowing that they want to go for a very aggressive push. But Neo unfortunately doesn't get the second shot off, leaving Cito on 1 HP, but gets finished off. Kiwiberry finds one, finds two, and he's looking like they're going for a nice push. Wexley finds Eden, as unfortunately they're cocking the gun. Down in the 1 vs 4, Yumi left alone with just a Stinger at hand. We all know Stinger is a monster weapon, and there we go, we do see them take Cat Lover, but gets traded for roll in return. And Kiwiberry does go for the plant for a little bit of extra points, as they've completely tied up the score already halfway into our first half today.
So immediately, tit for tat, immediately this first quarter of the game, this first half of the half, if you will, goes the way of no team. Both teams standing free. Now admittedly, 9-5 have 5 ultimates to work with, so still very much in the driver's seat, but the momentum starting to build here for INF. INF looking strong so far, looking to try and break the momentum even further. This is a mid-fight, a big fight coming through as the operator goes on hold. But it's Neo who gets the first shot. Scott goes Orion well for Down. That's the second time now, but the rest of the players all over towards Art are making sure to cover where Neo fails.
I know exactly.
Down. Double kill. It's exactly what they want, and the Recon Bolt does come out and finds Cat Lover. But that location revealed a bit crucial. They know where she's sitting. They know they could easily go for a flank or full send it onto them. And it's looking like Down's going for very aggressively. Finds it with the op straight into the side, and it is just left raw, left in a 1 vs 3. Spike in a very, thankfully, a weirdly safe position, because they did decide to leave it. Very sensible. Maybe predicting that an aggressive play might come out, but getting the spike, and now they can potentially look for a play here. But it really comes down to it. It's going to be the case, I think Roll is just going to simply need to try and win a few gunfights and then try and get a nice pick and get the plant down early on without them suspecting it. But unfortunately, Inan's ready for the swing and finishing off Raoul and getting themselves back in the lead by 1.
Small little micro point there, but it was really nice of Inan to place that trip all the way up here. You see, it stops Raw from just being able to take that much more space. It gets him primed and ready as Raw has to break the trip, gives Inan just that split second to flick back over towards the double doors, and that's enough to win them the round there. Big round here now though, the huge impact round. 4 ultimates versus 3 ultimates. Raw close to his as well. Whoever wins this puts themselves up perfectly to win this half.
100% is all, like you were saying, the ults are online, and Wexo finds a nice opening pick on the Down. That's so crucial. Down got some amazing opening picks of the op that round, and it was so crucial to them winning it so easily. is having to find, but Neo back with the op, the signature, the monster we know and love, takes down Cito in return. That's another kill going over to Inferno. 3-5 already, and it's not looking good as they are slowly enclosing on A site with just Yuumi sitting in the corner on their own as the rest of them runs and have to take over from the bank. Unfortunately, Wexio gets caught to pants down, but it does not matter as Roxanne whiffs, and Wexio does find the pick with a nice swift headshot. Very unlucky, but as they go into the Caliber, does find the plant, and they've fully enclosed themselves around A side. Yuumi finding one though, catches Vol in the back, but unfortunately gets found by Cat Lover, leaving himself exposed 1-for-1. And now Enan in the 1v4 scenario, we've seen them clutch up before, and it's never over till it's over. Even though, thing is, when you're approaching this site, it's going to be very difficult to get to them. They've got every single entryway on lockdown, and it might just be the case of just saving. They picked up the op and just I wouldn't even try finding it. Let them have the round. It's still even. It scores even. Keep the op. I'm sure Down is going to hugely appreciate having their op back for the next round.
Especially when you look at the economy, right? Down's got his knives, going to be able to keep it up. Just the fact that Yanan's able to bring an operator into the throw, just maybe pop it on Yuumi, pop it on someone else, get a kill for it, get a kill for your troubles as well. That's going to keep them alive here. That's going to keep tension and give them a chance to break INF. Admittedly, INF's economy looking much stronger, but still the ultimate's a very big factor. If you lose this, it's curtains, I would say, at this rate. 4-4, it's going to be a very hard half to come back from if you lose the big swing round.
Honestly, yeah, I think they are going to definitely struggle quite a bit going into this.
Get out of my way!
But
this
in
is
reality,
this is the B pop. They've never ran this yet.
No, they've never gone straight for B. They've always gone for A and rotated round to B through mid, and they're just full sending it, leaving just one on the back line. Wexio ready and holding mid. But Enan finds a nice pick, taking down Rules, run it back, clone. As Enan is just watching the cams and ult's getting popped. Cito finds one with the ult, taking down Cat Lover as the plant is no longer able to go down as they are backing off the point of it. And we can see Kiwiberry retreating very quickly. But unfortunately, Neo though is still staying on site with the op, hoping to catch Roxanne potentially on the rotate as they come from mid, but it's looking more likely that we're going to be getting another A fight as a B was not successful as Wexio gets caught off by Down with a very swift headshot with the knives, taking 2 down for the side of Inferno already. It's starting to look a bit more dire for them going into this next round as Neo is holding some very aggressive angles here, trying to control B, and it seems they're going for another rotate round to B, and they seem to have faked them out as they are most of NF are rotating to A side, holding a lot more angles closer favour to that side of the map. And there he goes, down goes the blind. That's what he goes for, but Enan does a nice opening hit for the op, taking down Neo, misses one. Unfortunately. But Yuumi gets a double kill onto Raw and Kiwiberry, closing out the round, getting themselves once again another lead of a point. Really going into round 10, we're approaching the end of the first half, and it's looking like we might go into our second half and even score.
Look at that shot from Enan. Just the chain of causation, right, Monkey? You mentioned earlier on. That round goes for the save, and we get a kill onto Cat Lover, and that kill onto Cat Lover now causes Rolls to not have a gun, and the operator that was saved by Enan was instrumental for that B site hold, and it wasn't expected, and was able to get that big kill onto Neo. And now as the chain of causation collapses, it seems that NF, although the scoreline is close, this is the best chance they've had in a while to break away. This is the best chance they've had since round 3 to be able to restake their claim on a dominant haul. Big contact. Oh, that's brilliant. Gets 2, and Roston's there as well for the trade. This street side, these double doors, just completely shutting down any push. If there was ever a chance to do it, that should be the sounding bell. And
Definitely.
5, go beyond 5, and secure their 6, at least a tied half for them.
Yeah, honestly, that worked incredibly well, and I immediately saw Yuumi popping out. You knew they're going to go for an aggressive back, and finding multiple and instantly getting a collateral onto 2 with Roxanne there to help clear up everybody else. It was a perfectly executed round and a very, very quick round, but only lasted 10 seconds, give or take. Fastest round I've seen in a long time, and now NF they've started to build that lead up a little bit again, and they've got 2 more rounds of the half. If they can get themselves to an 8-4, it could be looking very promising second half for them. As Neo finds one onto Yugo, a nice headshot with a Sharon. Instantly shutting it down to get a nice quick bit of damage onto down, bursting down that shield. As they're going to be going for a bit of a rotate now, leaving the very slim push onto A and heading towards mid potentially. As Wexio is scouting it out, potentially looking for any tripwires that Inan might have set up.
Wexio's position is really strong here. If you're N5, you have to suspect it. You play so many players over towards A. There has to be a Cypher lurking in somewhere. The question, though, now is just exactly where the Cypher goes. Wexio goes for a peek, trying to find it. Roxon unaware. Sheriff is pointed right to the back of his goal. Now he does. Now he knows where the Cypher is. The map seems to clear up. And Inan pushed forward. It's aggressive. It pays dividends. Spots a lot though, and now this ruse has come through. They know where it is. It's got to be B. 40 seconds left. This pivot would be too much of a risk. They know they can't take it. So down, you have to hit these shots. First one found. One more bullet left in the chamber. Makes a count. Now has a dash. Able to back away. Goes in towards U-Haul. The reload's going to be safe. And here comes the cavalry. Rest of the team able to arrive. Shut down here. INF, no access towards the site. It's just a down show. And down, the system is brilliant. Shuts down them all. 4 kills found. NF with 7.
Down a monster on the ARP. This is what we love to see, and it's just one after another. It's like shooting ducks. Yeah, we love going duck hunting. Taking one down after another, they just line up for you. Now in the final round of the half, can down do it again and bring themselves another round closer to victory. And we do see Cito was pondering themselves having an ARP. Look, we do see them cycling through weapons. They're not sure what they want to run, and it seems they're going to stick with double ARP, and we've got double ARP, Dut, and triple Vandal. Beautiful comp. And honestly, the double ARP, we've seen how deadly both Cito and Down are with these single fire weapons, and it's exactly what I think is going to bring them to victory. We love Neo, but Neo is not able to shine as bright as they have been in this round. Oh, Yumi takes down, rolls, run it back really early into the round, wasting it entirely more or less. And it's exactly what you want to see, taking it out so early on. But Yumi finds Neo with the Odin. Wexio tries that shot, get another with the Odin, taking a roll. And Wexio once again firing back and taking them down in return, bringing the score to that 3-3. But Inan finds Cat Lover, goes for a very aggressive peek on their own, was interesting. But Wexio gets caught out by the shock dart and has to remove it. But it seems the zone is coming out from Cito. They do find they know that where the last 2 remaining of Infernal are currently located. Right, and they don't have to spike either. Spike is on site. Cat Lover's the one that has possession. So they are forced to basically engage on fight as if they had it to try and recover it. With a location dart revealed and dire, Cito finds one and Cito finds another, bringing the score to 8-4 for NF, going into the second half. And it's starting to look a bit dire for Infernal.
That was just a great read. That every time INF have that Phoenix ult, they've always tried to go for an art split, go for a mid crunch. That Cypher trip by Inan again finding value, and like you've mentioned, it's starting to look dire. NF and 5, they've always been a team that's looked better on the attack side. Now though, they've already got such a huge cushion on the defense. You have to wonder, was that their better side, or is this now going to be their final form? For INF, you have to hope it is the former. Regardless, the evidence to be construed for us, Monkey, here on this pistol side. It's a big stack up towards mid again, as INF looks searching for answers. But it's Dart. Oh, it's going to be big. Catches all of them. That's so much information. How does NF respond? It's a scattering. Down. Yeah, Down's going to clear up. He's going to catch this trip. He's going to be able to break it. Doesn't have the timing, though. They've already dispersed. That one dart from Cito already completely changing the game state.
Yeah, and that's really all. That's what Ivano you love to see. A single bit of utility to find one, but Rule finds a nice headshot off the Down, opening the round, and gets lights on Roxon, leaving on 16 HP. All they have to do is spray through the door ever so slightly. Oh, my phone gets the accidental wall bang onto Roxon. I highly doubt that was intentional, but I'm sure they'll take it with a smile on their face. Getting 2 for the price of 1 so early on into their defense, and it's exactly what you want to see. As no doubt, this is where Infernal would like to shine, as we did see how incredible and impeccable they were on their defense in the first round game today. But can they bring it back? Can they write the story once again, chapter for chapter, as they wanted to finish off this pistol round for the second half, as it's all gone quiet now?
Wexio's taking a lot of space over towards the CT side. They know
30
it has to
seconds
go
left.
towards A, but as they turn around, now Neo falls. This just might be a loop-to-loop. Slips the knot here, so now they're going to be able to go over towards that B site. They don't know that's not clear, but just by virtue of walking away now, Wexio's just going to have to play the retake. And actually coming
Spike
in
planted.
from this CT side. Now, the trip wasn't broken. Now it's going to be broken, so the timing of Wexio might not be suspected here. Cat Lover gonna try to make noise over towards Heaven, but
One
this
enemy
Wixio, the
remaining.
star of this round, able to activate now. Enan falls. It all goes down to Sito. Sito over towards the street side. Gonna catch one on the unaware, but Cat Lover dropping gets that shot off. The headshot's enough to do it. INF get a pistol of their own as they start off their CT side strong.
Very beautiful execution coming out from Infernal. Instant retake of the point, and while they did have a disadvantage, N5 were looking pretty strong with a nice opening pick, but this pick here coming from Wixio is kind of what sealed their fate, opening it so early on into the spikes timer going down rapidly. But now we can see going into buy round, we do see N5 are going for a full save. They're just not bothering to spend a little bit on the odd sheriff. But Infernal aren't going a very pricey round either, sticking for the odds with all the SMGs and the Bulldog, which I respect there.
Yumi.
A bit illy.
He'll get that orb with little to no resistance actually. So Yumi's actually basically he's pretty happy with his round. The only thing he needs to do now, grab that B orb. That shouldn't be difficult. A smoke should be able to bring the rest of it over. And from there on out, it's just anything else a bonus for the Phoenix. On the rest of them, for the rest of the team though, a plant would be ideal. And they look to sniff out this B side. Wixio in the corner doesn't have a way out. He's gonna have to invest a cage, both cages as well. Actually, he's messed up the placement. And now NF, feeling like that they've pushed this side enough, look towards the other sides of the map. Looks towards the other extremity, looking to re-clear out this CT side. It's Enan left on the lurk. Enan to hear this trip. Enan to try and secure this kill onto Wexio. Neo the one to hold double doors. Neo's going to be challenged here. The flash has to be good. Will go behind his back. He'll just be able to go for the spray and not even able to get the kill. That's bad. Raw now looking for the response. Raw now with the spray down. Manages to get all three and builds up his ult. He tells Enan to come get for him. Enan misses the jump. And I mean, Raw's already gotten his ultimate. It's wrapped here.
Yeah, 10 seconds. I can't. Yeah, you just send it. Yeah, I respect it. There was not much they could do. Infernal once again are looking incredible. Wexio living on a prayer. Jesus, did not realise
Dreams
full
are a
health.
funny thing.
Barely surviving, but my word, what an execution play coming from Raw. Instant blind finds three, like you said. And honestly, he could not have done that any better. Blinding three perfectly is not an easy feat, because when people's reaction speeds at this level of play are insane. The second they hear that going around the corner, they will instantly turn around. But they weren't quick enough, and they got caught out. And now having that ult, run it back, gives them so much more versatility and a bit more risk play going on.
Yeah, and now Yummy is gonna be able to get that ultimate as well. Farming those orbs was enough to get them, enough to give them both Phoenix ults. And so now the question: who gets to use it better? N5 are favored to win this round if you were to ask the bookies, but this ultimate from Wall could be everything or it could be nothing. Kimber forced out, Kiwiberry forced away. Now just continuing to peek, and Neo over into it, trying to make something of it, and it's Weixio to try and continue in their footsteps, but just as equally shut down. This bonus so far looking peachy, looking perfect for N5. Roll off with the spray as well, and this just might be a flawless, indeed it is, off the back of a free quay from down. NF continue their winning ways and continue to show why they're a threat on this attack side.
Absolute monsters, yeah, you cannot cancel them out. They're insane defense, and then going on now being on their attack, they're so strong, and it's Infernal are starting to struggle a little bit. As obviously they did have those nice first 2 rounds of the half, but now scores getting ever so closer to the end. In fact, NF being 9 to 6, so it's not looking great. Meanwhile, the points aren't horrendously apart. You've got to start getting some more points. You can't let them get too far ahead too soon now. as we do see the op is back in play for Neo, and hopefully they can finally get their time to shine now on defense, because the op does like a bit more of a defensive measure, as blinds are coming up from both Cyphers though. Actually, nobody's even there. It does seem Wexio has just got a blind, completely just swing in a completely empty alley, and honestly, fair enough. So, you know, I'm sure that bit of a blind definitely threw them off guard a little bit, but with only one person being left on B, the rest of NF are very split. You've got 3 towards mid and then 2 on B, and it's looking like they might find down. Ooh, barely. Not a single point of damage. Yeah. Oh, but there's the.
There goes Neo.
Finds them on the flank, taking them down, and down goes they goes run it back for Yuumi, using it so early on and getting no value of it. But Eden takes down Roll, so there's no running back from Infernal. But Neo finds another on the flank onto Eden with the op. The absolute monster is back at it again. Spike is out and it is going for it. And honestly, they need to start moving. They need to start thinking about what side to attack. With 30 seconds left on the clock, time is ticking, but thankfully Infernal have got a lot of people looking for B site and looking towards mid potentially, with only Wexio solo holding A. If they wanted to go for a full send, it seems. The recon goes off and does find through. Does start get sprayed for the wall, 47 HP, very fast rotate, and does not get the headshot onto Roxanne, getting taken down, making the score 3-3 now in terms of players. It's looking a bit dire, but Sino does have the ultimate. Probably wanted to save it for a later round though. Roxanne does go down. Neo finds the third of an op, looking for the ace potentially. Kiwiberry's on the flank of the century, finds Yuumi, taking it down in the back, and just sees though a nice double kill to finish off the round, and he go for a defuse. And that's another round going back over to Infernal.
And for Neo, that has to be a sigh of relief.
Yeah.
Hasn't been having the best game so far. This was a player that you saw make miracles happen on Breeze with Chamber. It's been quiet so far. 5 and 14, I believe, before this round. But that operator, a big opening pick, a big kill to find to set up the retake. It's got to be a sigh of relief. It's got to be confidence back in the soul, especially now as the operator duties has to be passed back over to Wexio. It's Neo on the knives, looking to stab NF in the heart here.
Yeah,
as Wexio takes the duel.
Yeah, Wexio's going for it. With the op at hand, wanting to find an early pick, looking at Yuumi, no doubt that he's got an idea that somebody's there, but decides to unpeek it as Yuumi himself, and Down are making a peek themselves. Down goes the spike, but there goes one ult. Coming up, Solo fires 2-shot and is whipping, and there's no more anywhere near Wexio as they aren't able to get that ult for free now uncontested. Only taking a little bit of damage, which is in a perfect passage. But Neo finds a nice pick on the Roxanne with the knives coming out here. And that's a nice opening pick to what they need to start off this round. Down in here. And a nice op shot coming from Wexio, taking them down a peg. But now in a 3 vs 5, it's looking a bit dire. The ops are always so deadly. Neo did give up the op for Wexio in return due to them having ult. You don't know how much they love it. Moving on into it, Zito finds one and gets traded by Rule. Eden finds Cat Lover as well, evening out the score a little bit, 2-3. Rule's got to be really careful. There's again a bit of a pincer maneuver coming out here as the Flame Wolf does come out to Yuumi. Does force Raul to jump out and peek, and it's instantly headshot taken down. Ian finds Kiwiberry, and they've somehow managed to bring this game back from the depths of hell, as it's a 2 vs 1 now. Neo finds themselves a Vandal on the floor with the ult up online as well, and they're going to have to try and make it a very aggressive play here, but they're going long and nobody is watching this angle. Although we've got a bit of a rotate coming out from Yuumi. They did get spotted, but the flash comes out. Goes in, looks at the dash, does find Roll in the corner. Gets one knife onto him, Yuumi. Little bit of chip damage, goes down the shot dart from the camera.
Lost it down, oh my god.
Misses everything on Enon. And as the spike is taken down rapidly, finds Yuumi. Goes for another peek. No. You've got to try and go for the defuse now.
Is nothing.
Location revealed. Go for the peek. Nice pick, and is it enough
Oh my
time?
god!
Is it enough time?
Clutch.
It is. What a
Neo,
clutch
you
from
mad
Neo.
lad!
Neo the monster coming in and a nice, insane 1v2 clutch from the depths of despair. Evening out the score once again up to 9-8. We're just going back and forth. One team gets a lead, one team fires back over and over. And I wouldn't be surprised if this is our first game to go to overtime.
Neo caught by the camera, noted in every position, with knives being invested and exhausted, somehow finds a way to clutch that round. So many amazing plays in the span of the past few, and Neo, he's feeling himself, going for more. Initially the perennial bot frag, now looking to make a strong impact. He's got the groove back in his step here. And NF, they are wise to avoid him. Decide to go over towards Art first, but I mean, with all that utility being pushed there, they know they just have to force the issue, know that they just have to use this drone. In the meantime though, Inan now falling over towards the site, and down will fall right back in towards Neo. Yummy's good for the trade, but that's more than enough done, more than enough impact by Neo.
They do
The
have control of the
operator
spike.
sings. Yeah, and Roxin 1-on-4. He's good, but is he that good?
Got a rock the
One first. Wakefield shuts down. He does have an orb. He does have a lot of utility still. He's gonna put that down. That's a great response there from Rawl. Still has an ultimate, Rawl. Still has a flash. And now Roxanne starts to make the initiative. It's Kiwi
30
Berry
seconds left.
trying to make something.
I have the spike.
Walking in, Rawl won't spot him. Rawl could go for a spam to smoke now.
Oh,
Fades,
dear.
he's staying here. Roxanne, this is dangerous. This is bold. He knows he doesn't have much time left. He decides to stick to it, and he cannot make the kill work. Rawl gets that kill. And blink and you'll miss it, Monkey. We are now tied up again. 9-9.
Honestly, it's
12 rounds pass, and
unbelievable.
at the end of the day, everything's the same.
Yeah, if we keep going back and forth, and once again, it's over and over, and we are getting a quick pause here, just for a moment, and I can't make my mind up on which way this game's going to go. Obviously, NF are looking so strong. We know for a fact they are incredible at attacking, but Infernal's defense is impeccable because they use aggression to their advantage and catch people off guard. As we've seen, they've won 5 out of 6 rounds so far in this half. It just makes you wonder, what can NF do? As obviously they are the ones taking the time out. Surely they are the ones needing to take a breather and compose themselves, as the game's starting to get dire now as we get closer and closer to the end.
Especially because NF are actually now in the worst position, right? They've lost their, they don't win in the ult economy, they don't win in the actual economy, they don't win in the momentum side of things. Like, this is, for a 9-9 half, this is about as bad as it gets here for NF. They were on the side of one of the greatest comebacks that we saw just last map. Now it feels like now it feels like Karma is swinging around, and they feel like they're the ones who are left in the burning hot seat.
No, 100%. Now, with the timeout over, they really need to start focusing up here, as we do have Yumi. Both Phoenixes have run it back, up and ready, and that could be the game changer for whoever finds value. Down is popping the blades, is ready to go firing them down, as we do see in NF are taking a bit of a cheaper round here, opting for some Sheriff Singers and single Vandal. So I think it's sensible, but out comes the run it back. Doesn't find any value. 1 HP left. Just barely living on a prayer. Using running back. Does find Cat Lover in return. Out comes the flash. And down goes Rolls running back in return as well. So both are down so early on into this round. Meanwhile, Jet down is sitting at crisp 10 HP. So it's not looking great for them. But as they gradually make their way over the B side, it's looking like this is their attack preference here for this round. Potentially looking towards mid, as they don't want to give up too much space without knowing exactly where the opponents are. Down comes the Astro, fully ripping off the line of sight from Neo, who gets taken down by Ian in the last second of a nice headshot with Sheriff. Very finds 2 and almost finds 3 under Cito, but just barely loses the gunfight. Now in a 3 vs 2, more favoured over to NF, as they do finally get the plant down the first time in a couple of rounds. Now Raw and Wakefield need to try and clutch up here, but a sonar arrow is coming out. And it does not find any Roxing, but another smoke onto point. Shock Dart coming out. Doesn't find her, but Cypher is getting uploaded. Wakefield now knows where everybody is.
Watch your eyes. One enemy remaining.
Comes through, Cito gets that kill. Wakeshield on the up, 1-on-2. Miracles have happened before. This operator, this very operator, brought something to them. This time it won't. The retake too difficult, and NF off the back of a timeout are able to find 10.
Yeah, an incredible round as they bring themselves ever so close to the victory. It is looking like either team could take this round, and it wouldn't shock me if we do go to overtime, like I mentioned before, as both teams are so incredible, back and forth, and it makes you think, are they changing strategies between rounds? Are they changing mindsets? Because they are adapting so back and forth, as you can literally see how the score has gone back and forth between NF and Infernal over and over. It's back and forth, and as they keep adapting to each other's game plans.
Recovering it.
Push again. Again, that game plan coming through. They decided to put Wake Shield, the only Vandal that they have, over towards A, expecting that there's going to be a fight. Instead, now this pushed over towards mid. The main avenue, the main fight coming forward, has actually just completely collapsed. Now Wake Shield pushes up. Yumi, do you read this? Do you suspect it? It'll come from an awkward angle, and that's indeed enough. Yumi, the operator, now falls. Wake Shield's position spotted out. It's a 1-on-2. They'll know that Wake Shield has that Vandal. And so most likely NF going to look to explore the other avenues, try and figure out where Kiwiberry is. And being Kiwiberry deep over towards Mon. Enon now spots him out. Enon knowing that he's favored in the fight, trying to make something of it. But Kiwiberry, do the jiggle, moving forward, now shut down. The bomb's going to be able to come down. Wakesio couldn't do the 1v2 last time. This time even more called upon him. A 1v3 necessary to stop NF from reaching 11 to keep this a tied game.
Yeah, it's looking really dire.
I don't think he's going to go for it.
No, I don't.
I think he's just trying to save.
I think it's sensible. You still have a tiny bit of wiggle room right now in this game before NF can take the victory. So I think it's sensible to save as much credits as possible going into the next round. You do not want to waste a Vandal this late in the game. Yes, you need the best guns possible to get for your advantage here. But as Inferno, yep, just going to give the point. I think that's very sensible. But N5, as they take another round, 2 points off winning the game, it's starting to look very dire for Inferno. But hold on. But gets too cocky and doesn't start to sit in the corner, gets taken down by Enon, losing the Vandal, which I think is a bit of a misplay.
Yeah, now look at this buy. Especially because of Wakesio, who's the Cypher who needs that utility. Now Wakesio doesn't have anything to show of it. He won't be able to buy shields, might not even be able to buy full util with only 100s to spare. This just might be the little bit of disadvantage. This might just be the little caveat that NF required to break free and reach match point again.
Find you.
Big swing here. Goes without saying, this is a big fight. This is a big round.
Yeah, I feel Infernal gives us a real fun, a nice pick with the molly combined with the spray and pray, taking down Enon so early on into this fight. And that's one pick they need to get themselves this round and preventing the NF to get to match point. But they're going for a very aggressive push onto B site, as it is only Kiwiberry sitting there on their own. Full setting it free on the point. See, finding already, but down takes down Kiwiberry, finds down Neo, finds Yumi, he's down to 2 versus 5 already. Cito trades on Kiwiberry, but Neo fires back, taking down Cito in return. Being in a 1 vs 4 scenario, Roxon nowhere near the point. It's looking a little bit dire here for them. As Neo though going for a very aggressive peek, getting a spray and spray. Roxon knows where the other, an instant jump peek onto the high ground. A nice pick from Neo and a quick round win for Inferno as he brings us just 1 inch closer to taking it. But it's looking more likely of a potential if we can either just barely go to overtime or one team is going to take this, as we only got 3 rounds left.
And now at this rate, you need to stop. You can't just look at who wins the rounds, but the extent to which they've won the round. Losing out on so many guns there, or rather retaining so many guns, INF, now they have a pretty good economy that's going to last them through to the rest of the half to an extent. Unless it's a massive collapse in these next few, NF are actually probably going to have to face against full Vandals and Phantoms every round.
Definitely. They're talking dire, but we do see that Roxon is opting for the Sheriff to try and save a little bit more credit, which I think is very sensible. As every credit counts at this point in the game, every bit of moolah can mean the difference. And as they are setting up for some anti-flank here going in with Cypher, Enon trying to prevent any counter-flank. Wolf goes in, peeks one, finds one, sprays for Roxon for Enon. But Enon finds a second onto Neo with a nice wallbang with the Vandal. trading two, as both of them had their ults up as well. Down goes Cat Lover's ult, but Yumi finds Awexio in return already, 2-4. Runs out of ammo, and down finds them, bringing us down to a 1 versus 4. It's Kiwiberry who does have the ult. Surely they are going to save that, as it is looking more likely we are going to a match point here for N5. As Yumi did pop the running back, and it did run out. Down is going for a quick jiggle peek, but Kiwiberry finds one. Finds Cito, but left at 30 HP. I think they just run away, take the 2 kills, save your Vandal. And you're going to have to fight back. They can't drop around now. They have to win the next 2.
2 chances.
Yeah, they got 2 chances to take it overtime if they want any chance of winning now. And all NF, they have a tiny bit of wiggle room. They can afford to lose 1 round now. But as long as they secure 1 of them, that's all that matters. But ults are online, especially for Infernal, having 3 up compared to the singular for Cito.
Match point.
And it would have been 2 for NF. But Yumi decided, in the panic of it all, to secure the round there, to pop his Phoenix ult. You saw his Phoenix ult being used to try and clear out Cat Lover. 2 seconds later, Cat Lover just dies naturally by way of down peeking. And so now you have to wonder whether or not that's going to make an impact. Whether or not that's going to be something that Yumi's going to look back as an overheat moment, the defining moment of this entire map. That defines whether or not they win or lose. It'll have to come down to these next few. The 3 ultimates on INF. Is it enough to drag them across the line? Is it enough to bring them overtime?
Yeah, this matters so much, as this will bring the winner of this to our upper bracket final to guarantee themselves in a grand final today to take home the grand prize of £100 for $100 for the first place. And obviously, everybody likes a bit of money, and competing for something gives you that extra bit of drive. And no doubt, unfortunately, Wexo finds a nice opening bit on the Cito, but they've got 5 HP. Down and finds him though in return. The blind comes out, but down goes Rules, run it back. That's so crucial, losing that so early on and not getting value of it. All they've got is a bit of intel, which is still good, as they are making a full round rotate, looking for a bit of a push on B side now. And we do see a very aggressive hold by Neo, sitting behind the box on the corner by A. But they're going for a full rotate. No op is at hand, weirdly enough. This is very surprising coming from both teams. We both know they like a cheeky op, but at this point in the game, you can't afford to get style points. Everything matters, every single play. And down goes another ult. All down needs is 1 more pick, and they'll get the blades online. And it might be that 1 little bit they need to help secure this game. Down goes all the blinds, out comes the smoke, and Enon is going for the plant. Just cancel it. Rule finds him on the wall bang, but down finds them, and that's the ult ready online from Hugo. Finds Yumi, down finds another, but Roxanne trades for Cat Lover. There's 1 versus Neo comes up from behind. It's a 1 versus 1. Knives are blazing, but Neo finds it, coming in from the clutch and just preventing them from 1 more round. Oh God, the 1-on-1. But the thing is that Neo had the pop ult, down didn't. They still have the blades online for match point.
And that's a lot of money we lost out. I wonder what the economy's looking like. Look at this play here. The discipline from Neo to only get that kill right there in that moment, to not review his position. It just makes him panic. It just makes Down worried about whether or not he should stick or not, and that's going to cost so much. It comes down to the final round of regulation. It's either NF moves on or we go to OT. Ultimates available still for either side, but the economy is lacking. It seems INF with the advantage here, looking to bring it home, looking to go the distance. How does NF play this round? The last round, they've had brilliant macro so far. They need to show it 1 final time.
Yeah, 1 last time. You got 1 final chance to get for showing before you go to overtime, and obviously overtime is very dire. All you need is a 2-point lead at that point, and no one wants to be in that position. But whoever gets the pick here, very, very brave from Kiwiberry. You never know what they might be running, but as we can see on the casters through our double side, NF are not doing good in terms of eco, having to run 3 SMGs in comparison to the 3 rifles and the op for the side of NF, and look who's got it. Neo, the demons, got the op in hand, and we know they are insanely accurate with it. But already 40 seconds down on the clock. We do see Ladown is sitting there ready and waiting with the knife. Caliber thinks about going for a peek, does go quick, gets caught by Yumi instantly. But Raw finds one, Yumi trades for it. But Cito going down there with the ult online. Inan finds another, that brings us to 4 versus 2 already. Only Wixu has ult online left. So Infernal finds one onto Inan. That's a nice opening pick. Down does know where they are. I think they should pop, if they pop the knives, go for a quick swing. Oh, they put it to the wrong corner. Down goes Wexio as Plant is now going on. Neo with the ult, down and ready. But Down takes down Neo in the final clutch, bringing us barely before overtime. N5 win the semi-finals against Infernal, and they are moving on to the grand finals of the upper bracket, and Infernal are moving down to the lower bracket to try and redeem themselves.
What
a banger.
A map.
Honestly, that was so a nail biter. I've been on the edge of my seat for the last couple of rounds at this point. I haven't had a match this close in a while here in Wolvesden. And my word, what a game. So back and forth. Anybody could have taken it. It was just some small misplays. Barely missed Valorant timing. Well, just in general, FPS timing. The second you look away, you're going to unfortunately miss. But my word, incredible play for both teams, though. Like, what else can I say? An incredible match all around.
That was awesome. That's why you watch Valorant right there. That's why you watch sports in general. That's what it's all about. The plays, the pushes, just every single kill mattering, the clutches that came through, impossible moments. That was a game worthy of deciding one of our grand finalists, and I am so glad to have watched that.
Yeah, 100%. But man, what an absolute banger of a game. But we won't keep you here for too much longer. We are going to shoot a quick break just as we get our upper final ready for you. And I've got no doubt that it's going to be an absolute banger. So we will see you very, very shortly. Stay tuned. Takes another pick with the Vandal, a triple kill, bringing them down to a 2 versus 2 already, but gets going for a bit of a fake. The word thinking about sticking it, and he gets 2 pockets out. Finds one, but barely wants to be careful with that push.
Hold up, another wave coming. Hit the ground, we're running. You and I go all the way. Listen, and my demons calling. So tired, I'm crawling, but I know you're here to stay.
the mid
Some
fight,
things
big
come
fight
my
through.
way and some things go, but I know you and I will never change. Whoa, smile for the camera 'cause the world's on fire. Cheers to the moment when the world's right by. I'll be holding on with you. Dance with the devil in the pouring rain. Sharks in the water, but it's all the same. I'll be holding on. I'll be holding on with you.
Around A side, usually finding one though, catches while in the back as they come from mid, but it's looking more likely that we get another A fight as the B successful as we see this call.
In her heart there's a hole, there's a black mark on her soul. In her hands is my heart, and she won't let go till it's scarred. Try to breathe but I can't, 'cause the air she feeds me is damned. Got a touch like a thorn, 'cause the girl she's hiding mourns. She got blood cold as
Contact.
ice
Oh,
and the
contact.
heart
Oh, that's
made
brilliant.
of stone.
Gets two and
But she
there as well for the trade.
me
This
alive.
street side,
She's the
double
beast in my bones.
Shut
She gets everything she wants when she gets me alone, like it's nothing. She got two little horns and they give me a little bit. Made of stone, but she keeps me alive. She's the beast in my bones. She gets everything she wants when she gets me alone, like it's nothing. She got two little horns and they give me a little bit. Pointed at me, there's nowhere to run from the fire she breathes. She got horns like a devil, pointed at me, there's nowhere to run from the fire she breathes. She got horns like a devil, pointed at me, and there's nowhere to run from the fire she breathes. Horns like a devil, pointed at me, she got two little horns and they give me a little bit. She got two little horns and they're getting me a little bit.
Ultimate from wall could be everything or it could be nothing. Kimber, forced out. Kiwiberry forced away. Now just continuing to take
1 mile to the water. The signs don't lie. There you go, trying to find a way. The sun's heat is blinding you. It hypnotizes the baby. You want you wade in the water. There's no trace of the other. Baby, you
down for Wolf goes in,
I
peeks
know
one, finds one, 5. Zumi did pop the running back, and did run out. Down is going for it. Finds one. Finds instantly go for a push. Neo and Rolf right down into the eye. It does take it up immediately by Ethan. It does get one.
Almost got this right. Fury gets Royna.
Hello everybody and welcome back from our short break, and welcome to the upper finals for today. And today, in this game, we are going to find out who's going to be sent to the grand finals of our monthly tournament. And man, we've just come off of an incredible banger between N5 and Infernal, and now going into our next game, which I have no doubt is going to be an incredible match.
Absolutely. I'm so excited for this one as well. The match today, we've been focusing very heavily, I would say, on the right-hand side of the bracket, following 100%. Our protagonists of N5 through the story, their incredible comeback against that nail-biter of a game they've had against Inferno, and now they face off against their toughest opponent yet on the left side of the bracket, beating out Monkey's favorites here in Doozy. I present to you, ladies and gentlemen, Sarkula Sokolara I8, or SSA for short, as we'll call them for now. This is a team of very high caliber players. This is the team of Radiants who have ranking numbers in the double digits, and I mean, if that's not a hard challenge to get into grand finals, if that's not a worthy opponent to vie for the slot in the grand finals, I don't know what is.
Yeah, honestly, and honestly, either way, both these teams are incredible. So obviously, like you said, the winner does go to the grand finals, but the loser does gets a second chance in the lower bracket finals to potentially have their comeback. But right now, we've got to focus on our upper finals here, and we are going over to Ascent for our final game of the upper bracket. How are we feeling about that?
Ascent's a map that I think has gone through a very quiet sort of change. Traditionally, Ascent is the cookie cutter, boring, solved meta, And then we got to 2025, and Waylay started to get introduced into the mix. And now we're in a new meta where initiators are gone, and there's these new reinforced walls. And so you start to see teams experiment, a little bit of old, a little bit of new, and I think that's precisely what we're reflecting right now in the compositions that the teams are running. N5 opting to run a much more traditional sort of composition with a bit of a twist. You're subbing out the KJ for the Cypher, that's more normal. But it's the Phoenix, the utilizing the Phoenix as your flasher as opposed to a KO that might be raising a few eyes. That's something that we've seen been used a lot more now as Phoenix has become a lot more meta, as the orbs have become a lot more easier to grab. You're looking again at Yummy to bring up that stellar performance that you saw in Pearl. On the flip side, SSA have actually decided to run a complete mirror comp. So forget everything I just said. It's exactly the same sort of analysis. Keep an eye out for Charizard. Keep an eye out for Yummy. Whoever grabs orbs and whoever can really bring that impact with their flashes should be the key determining factor as to how this game plays out.
Yeah, definitely. It's not every day we see a perfect mirror comp, but now we're going to find these teams are going to finally prove to them who is better at their preferred agent. We know, in fact, Roxanne loves the smokes. Down is an incredible duelist along with Yumi, and the setup from Ian is incredible. Sito, we've seen many times, an incredible marksman, but obviously we have not seen anything of SSA. And honestly, well, they're here in the grand finals. We know they're good, and we know they've got some incredible players, especially their Cypher, who is Radiant number 15 currently, which is an incredible feat and is near the top of the leaderboard. So evidently they must be an exceptional player, and everybody is in this lobby. So I can't wait to get into this, and no doubt I've got full faith this is going to be a banger of a series.
The stakes are high with this one as well, Monkey. The stakes are as high as they'll get. I mean, at this rate, these players, they've all guaranteed a top 3 finish, but only top 2 guarantees you prize money here. So this is to guarantee 50 smackaroos going to your team and a chance to compete for 100. If not, you put yourself out of that safety net, and you put yourself at risk of...
I believe the 50 is for the people in the grand finals. So if they go down to here, I'm pretty sure they still have one last chance in the lower bracket to bring themselves back up to the grand finals, as the rest of the teams are battling it out down there to make themselves a redemption arc. But right now, things we can't even go on about the compositions due to any advantages that they got. Being such a perfect mirror match, especially on Ascent, I can't see. It's going to be truly down to the individual playstyles and teamwork coming in here.
Yeah, I mean, you're looking at, of course, the map geometry is always going to make it a little bit more favored towards one side. Traditionally, we saw that Ascent was a very heavily CT-sided map. It's changed a bit more in recent times, I would like to say, privy to the orbs being so in such close proximity to the Phoenix. But you're still probably looking at the CT side to be trying to get 7-5, assuming they win pistols. If not, maybe a 6-6 half is amenable. That's the benchmark. That's the litmus test that we should be looking at to determine if SSA is doing a good job or if NFS is on the rise. But at the end of the day, all those statistics and all that stuff that we've mentioned, Monkey, it all comes out the window, I think, when it comes really into the game. Because if anything, N5 has proven to us that above statistics, they care the most about momentum. When they get red hot, they go on crazy streaks. And if things start to go scary, like, it really reflects in their game style. And that's something that we'll have to see if SSA has that level of composure, or if they've not level of composure, that level of momentum-based gaming, if they're able to really ride off the emotions, and whether or not that'll help them soar up to the occasion, or if they'll be crashing and burning because of it.
Yeah, no, definitely. And obviously the pressure is on, and I can't imagine that N5 are no doubt a bit tired. They've obviously come off 2 very long games back to back. Then again, both these teams have. Although SSA has had a bit of a longer break, as they did finish their last game a bit sooner, so they've had a bit more time to recover. So no doubt N5 are surely going to feel that bit of fatigue, which is a minor disadvantage. A lot of people do not consider, obviously, this ain't just for esports, it goes for regular sports as well. That bit of fatigue coming off multiple games back to back, like we especially do see in esports, no doubt gradually builds up, especially in these longer tournaments and longer series, where over time you're going to get tired, reaction speeds are slower, it happens, you know. It's just a part of human nature to gradually feel tired over time, and hopefully that's not going to affect N5 too much.
And I guess that's sort of the advantage you get from being from playing better, right? In those past few games, where you'd imagine a team who's just stomped through, like Sarkula went 13-3 against Apatu, had a bye with no opponent by virtue of finishing in first place. Sarkula is probably feeling much more refreshed and much more ready to go compared to N5, who's had to grind and grind for every single game forward, every single game being a nail biter, going through all the emotions. Whether or not that takes a toll, that's something that we're going to have to discover here. But regardless, this is it, the final game of the upper bracket. It's N5 versus SSA on Ascent. N5 on the defense side, SSA looking to breach this A site.
Cover going out.
Yeah, no, 100%. But it seems they wanted to go for a very hard push on A. All 5 going in very aggressive. This is not what we've seen before. SSA running straight to the point uncontested. They're going straight for it. Yumi finds one onto Charizard. Yumi finds 2 onto S4 Jet. But Ezel finds back onto Yumi, taking down 1 at the plant. Klee is wanting to go for it already, but the shock dart comes in, prevents him, buys him a little bit more time as Amalani is trying to break a little bit of space as the rest of NF are making their way, breaking down the door. Having to use a lot of ammo for it, though. We see Roxanne's down to 7 ammo. So the pistol is very low, and they're going to have to... But they've picked up the ghost from one of the opposing bodies, which is very sensible. Down is looking for the high ground control, but gets instantly one-shot there by Klee. Skittle fires up onto the ammo, but Klee instantly finds another.
Last player
He's on a rampage. Ezel finds 1. It's now to 1 versus 2 over SSA. Roxanne finds another, and it's down to 1 to 1. 20 HP though. The perfect mirroring of the movements, amazing, but just barely can't cut out and misses the headshot. And Ezel gets a nice dribble call to finish it off, and a very close round, but goes over to SSA.
I like how SSA decided to pause that round, initially at a disadvantage. You saw that on that 4v3, they decided to really piece it together to not give any leverage over towards that market side, over towards gardens, knowing that there's no flash in play. SSA really reading the situation well there, and they're rewarded with the first pistol round win. It's a heavy buy-in. Charizard with a Vandal, looking to grab those orbs, looking to get aggressive, looking to keep their momentum going.
Yeah, 100%. And honestly, this momentum is so important. But misses the marker down to 22 HP. I've taken a lot of damage in return. That's kind of crucial. But Charizard's going for a bit of a long rotate. Maybe this could be rotating back round to his back. Down instantly takes on the door, removing that bit of use heal from the attackers here. But they're looking like they're going to rotate through mid and make a move onto A. Maybe? No, it seems they're backing up. And they find a nice opening bit. Finds 2, finds 3 onto Roxanne. Gets a 4th from Ezel onto Yumi. And being left in a 1 versus 5. Vito is not really unable and gets taken down by Alman on the flank with a ghost. And that's another round going into SSA very convincingly. And Klee is a monster from what we've seen so far.
That was a really nice spray down from Klee. Gets him that ultimate, not the agent you'd want the ultimates to come upon, but that's a great call for the confidence. That's at least something, an option to bring forth, and most importantly, that's guns that don't fall over towards N5 side. Have a look at this buy here. It's still not a lot invested, but basically nothing being used. Everything just within the thousands, 1,600 at most from Almania for FC.
This is a nice spot.
SSA, even if they lose this, they'll find themselves in really good standing to set up for the next half. Everything at this point, they're playing with house money.
Yeah, 100%. It seems they end up going all in. Wanted to get as much because they a little bit of damage there on Cito as they wanted to go for a bit of a B push this time round. But Down does finally get a nice opening pick of the Ezel. This is what they need to get themselves back into this game. But as they gradually go in, Cito is holding the sharp angle, but there are a lot of them off push through mid. Down goes the wall coming out from Charizard here. Bit of spray and pray, but Alman finds no one with the camera.
There's a crossfire.
And Roxanne, yeah, they're bringing a bit of crossfire. Out with the flash, but does not matter. Cito finds one with the fire back to Alman. One for 2 total. And they trade once again down. Big
player
jump there as
standing.
well. Almond fires back again. And Roxton takes on Almond in return. Now down to a 1 versus 3 for Klee. But I'm sure Klee likes those odds, as we've seen Klee's an absolute monster. Does have the ult as well for a bit of a cheeky flank if they feel it. They can see that there's a tripwire there. Will he proc it? Will he shoot it?
Play the calm.
30 seconds
very
left.
calm,
All the
very
way over
slow.
towards the back.
Fight, but Eden, the go instantly flicks and takes down Klee, and they do get themselves a nice round very, very early on.
Managing to get that with a little bit of damage brought in. I think that trip gets broken here. That's the only way I can imagine it. Yep, immediately does so. So that's what happened there. But
Yeah.
again, as mentioned, that point aside, as I say, they were playing on house money that time around. Now they have a thriving economy coming in towards this, able to fully buy on compared to NF. It's a little bit weaker weaponry, but still the first true gun round. And it looks like, as I say, again leaning over towards this mid side.
100%, and out goes to camera. They are doing a bit of a setup. We can see here Alman is trying to do their very best, but Yumi's got a very aggressive push, a very aggressive angle, and is looking to find them very early on. Quick jiggle peek. Yumi does find the pick. We love to see it with the Phantom, but out comes the shock dart, and Charizard is found out. Having to remove it from the spy cam, but they now know where it possibly is located on that angle. Zito's going for a bit of an aggressive flank here, potentially trying to find someone, but as they make their way to the point, Charizard uses the Molotov to scout a little bit, doesn't find anyone. As he'll make their way to the point, baiting the plant for anyone to go for a very early peek. But they don't find it, as the plant is going back down. They do decide to stick it this time around. Down finds one, speaking of the devil. Takes down S4B. Jet, which is nice, but out comes Yumi's ult. Jumping straight down, but Klee instantly takes it down. There's a nice opening, bit of util gone. Charizard finds one and is traded down for Enos. Klee finds Enos back in return. Wilson finds one but is unaware of where both of them are, and it's another round when going on to Infernal, and not Infernal, sorry, NF, and it's looking back and forth once again. I thought SSA were looking very dominant, but so far it's already N5 have already adapted to their playstyle.
And I like how that round just shows a little bit of minuscule moments in Valorant. That early aggressive peak that comes out from Almania Faresi just getting punished, right? Pushed forward over on towards B, and on the angle, Yumi's there. That unlocks Yumi's ultimate, which is integral for just keeping the man advantage, for keeping things in check for N5, and they're able to win out on that pistol round. Not pistol round, the gun round, my apologies. Now putting SSA onto a pistol round. It's NF looking to break away here. Their first breakaway point. Need to capitalize on this as well. There's aggression coming out from Savali. That's crazy. That's a nerfed monkey. You can't be getting away with that. Surely not more. Surely you can't get 3. Gets all of them on towards the site, and he's still going for more. Still going aggressive. This man is feeling himself, and Yummy not going to be expecting this off angle. Gets the ace. 4 in his name, and he's already got 4 kills. Inan managing to get the backstab. Inan actually gets the 3rd.
Nice, well played from Inan though.
Yeah, hopes to put a stop to the madness. But that's just how it is against these teams. You feel like you got the advantage. You feel like things are all set and done, and this is the formality round. Players just come up with magic like that.
Yeah, 100%, but man, just the dive with the Bucky, you can't be doing that. The Bucky, after its nerf, is definitely on the weaker side of weaponry, but instantly one pump in Roxanne down is very impressive, and then getting that double kill by stealing the Vandal. It's exactly what you have to see, but it's looking like Down has got the up, they're ready, they are set up, and they are waiting for them on point, no doubt. Holding mid, but taking for a bit of a cheeky rotate as they're looking at them to go for another attack onto A site, but a lot slower this time round. As they now have a bit more money, and credits to their name, they are able to actually afford some decent weaponry going into round 6 here. But it does not mean they have to rush in like Psychopaths. They are taking their time, trading over the spike to Alman here, who's looking like they were going to want to go for a push on B, but it's so difficult to decide where they're going to go here, as they've got both sites and locked down quite heavily by N5.
A lot of Yuso being used over towards that B main side. And SSA, they take interest in this. They know a lot of Uto's been used. You know, the players over there are going to be weak. They want to be able to try and re-clear this with the 40 seconds left. Pop those ults that they have to really manhandle their way in towards the site. Charizard going to be running in as bait. Yeah, he gets caught out, doesn't get a kill for it. Now just trying to make a lot of noise. Look at the rotations he's pulling, and now it's only Roxanne in towards the side. That's a great first pick.
30 seconds left.
Just shut down, shut through, and the rest of the team now comes forward. There's no one to try and challenge. Safe passage in. Izo, he's making a lot of noise, and Yumi's surely going to be able to hear this, and Yumi's going to activate. Yumi's suspecting another as well. Charizard on the party, and he's going to be spotted out, but in over towards the site. It's Bedlam being caused by S4. S4 still remaining to be a menace, and now safe passage comes through. So everyone over towards the site, everyone now accounted for. It just has to come down to the frags. Enon 5 HP makes his way down towards lane, and he's gonna have to do it alone, a solo mission as Charizard cuts out the support. Enon now pushed down, blink and you'll miss it, and all the kills light up red in the kill feed. SSA, they've become a pivotal slow round, and they're able to convert. 4 on the board for them now.
Nice and really well executed around, like we said, slow and steady. Sometimes it does win the race, as we do know the tortoise will always beat the hare, but in reality, I think it's the fact that N5 rushed in a bit too heavy there and took way too much damage. I know what we did see. Enon been left on 5 HP, which is an awful position to be in as the timer ticks right down to the end of the round. As ultimates are coming online for both teams, it's starting to look precarious as round 7, and we do hear Jet has been popped. It's going to be interesting who can get value with this the most. And we do see is Down, who's decided to go for it first and initiate it. Meanwhile, we do see Billy is ready and waiting to fire back. Down goes the blind though for Alman, who's popping all their util on this singular entranceway, knowing they're trying to bait out a bit, but they do know Enon's there surely. As Yumi's doing a very aggressive push here, finds one onto Klee as they instantly shoot through the smoke, as Charizard was not ready for it. As I'm sure if they were holding the correct angle, they could have easily punished it. But Alman gets found by Enon. Does decide manages to run away and back out the second. Not a second too soon. Down low misses, and it's instantly taken down by the Outlaw from Saberly. As we find it down 1 for 1. And I think this is so crucial here. It's 45 seconds left on the call. We are over halfway finished with this round. And down goes the Cypher ult. Locations have been revealed. And as they are making their way.
Dash towards A.
Yeah, it's a mad dash towards A. That's because nobody is properly set themselves up right from N5 on there.
30
they know better. Maybe gets another pick onto Enon. It's a crucial opening pick, bringing them, giving a nice numbers advantage. Taking out the Owl drone the second it goes out is huge. But out comes the old Sento, fires 1, fires 2, fires 3, and finds nothing with just a little bit of damage on the chip onto Alman. Even then, it wasn't nothing, but Yumi does find somebody in return, which is not too bad. Roxanne pops the smoke. Isn't ready though. Charizard isn't flanking, but Edge waiting. Down goes the flank and does thankfully take out Yumi's running back with his huge pick. Roxanne finds 1, so does Cito, taking down 2. It's just in a 1 versus 3 scenario now. Finds 1,
found.
but the diffuser is going down. Finds 2, needs to rush it, and finds 3 for the clutch. And Alman, with a 1 versus 3, does go for a cheeky taunt as the diffuse doesn't go off in time, and they do save their gun. But my word, what the time efficiency as Yumi's diffusing, we can see it. And honestly, I think there was a split second where Yumi could have potentially held it if they didn't hesitate.
Yeah, maybe it was in the cards. But I mean, there was Cito panicked a bit there. Saw the 1v3, just went for the swing, didn't play enough discipline. Roxanne had him dead to rights. But that's just what happens. Split second decisions, split second mistakes can lead to rounds going that looked completely in your win, just moving away in a grasp. Yumi now, challenge again. This is a very standard Sova drone. Is there an answer to this? No, there won't be. It's just going to be mid again. This is something that SSA have really been favoring these rounds. And it's something that just hasn't seemed to work in towards their favor as they just get mowed down over towards A. Shut through, shut forth, and Charizard left alone to think and wonder where it all went so wrong. Gets first kill though, and have a look here. Have a look at Alman's position. Alman, you might be able to get a back out here. Enon, head in a swivel, aware of the possibilities. Won't be able to get Charizard, but he's done more than enough. 1-on-2 in the position of Charizard. Now no. First kill, anyone be found, but Yumi, he'll close the round out. And so the mid push from SSA fail. NF able to staunch the bleeding. They managed to break that 3-round streak and get back on the board.
Yeah, really, really well played. So close to Charles. Obviously, they had the opportunity to potentially run it back and find the pick. Obviously, we saw they got a nice pick on the Roxanne, and they could have potentially used it to survive and then fight back against Yumi. But I feel it was more sensible to save it, as now they do have a huge ult advantage going into round 9.
Get out of my way!
Big fight again. This time over towards this A side. Last time was a fast hit when they didn't have anybody come through. It seems the same is going to come through again. So that's a great way to shut it down. It's Sabalai. Surely not this time with a shotgun. Surely not. He does it again. Gets the kill, and Enon has to be fuming. The bomb's going to be able to come down once more. This time a 4-on-4 retake. Ult's not available for either side except for those already utilized, so it's just gonna have to be dry. Lots of utility being used right now by SSA, but nobody's home. The retake's still not set up. Now all poised. They'll break this door, and at the call, it should be a go. This paranoia's got to be big. Should be able to catch no one on the line. Absolutely no one's home, and so able to now reposition into new angles. This is difficult for NF, and the bomb's ticking. Flashes come through, and that's a great smoke to move forward. Ezo first one to draw blood, and the rest of his team due to follow, unless Down has something to say about it. Down needs a miracle. Down needs free. Down gets the kills, but no time remaining. The rest of the team will scamper, and Charizard left to follow his sword. But he'll die satisfied as SSA secure the round.
Wow, what a performance coming out from Down, but like you just said, it was just slightly too late, as we do see it come out here. 2 amazing picks coming from SSA, but Down finds 1, finds 2, and then does fire back with a quick dash, finding 3, but just the lack of time. And honestly, if it was just the fact they had a little bit more time on the spike, I think they could have easily taken that round. The comeback would have been incredible.
I love how even though there wasn't time, Down still took the time to shoot the body before running away. Just how it goes.
It definitely is how it goes, and honestly sometimes it just that just happens. But oh, and it goes to shotgun, gets a huge amount of damage. Seems that actually trade 1 for 1, taking down Almi and Roxanne. But it's irrespective, but they go for a very aggressive push, instantly taking control of B site. But Klee, you need to turn around, you've got to be careful. No, Yumi found him out immediately, and down goes the spike just in time before Yumi can make a push. It seems they're going for a very split, aggressive retake here, and then you've got at least one person on every door, and out comes the ult from Eden. They now have all the locations they need. Down goes the cam. Charizard gets hit with the bolt. Down finds Charizard, finds another, finds 3, and that is a very swift retake, and that is redemption for the last round.
Down piecing together 6 kills over the past 2 rounds. He's been instrumental in denying a really strong victory to staunch the bleeding, and now getting his team up on the board once more. This was really well executed by NF, reading into SSA's tendency to just hard push 5-man over towards the site. It's Yumi who goes for a super fast early flank, able to catch players off guard. I believe it was Cleese who was caught off guard, and from there on out, just being pushed in towards that B site. It was like shooting fish in a barrel. Tech pause now coming out here. Not quite sure which team it will be, but gives us time to break down the game state so far. Monkey,
honestly,
you've seen 10 rounds of this. What are you thinking so far?
Well, for right now, I still think this game is in any team's hands. Obviously, right now it is favoured towards SSA having a 2-round lead, and also having a bit of an ultimate lead as well, but more for util-wise instead of single-handed plays. But we can clearly see, in terms of frag-wise, evidently who is the top. Both Jets are an incredible and absolute force of nature for their teams. But the real question is, what are they going to do? As time is starting to run out for this half, 2 rounds left. When we swap sides, is that going to be the game changer, as we've seen multiple times? Once N5 swap sides, they become different people, different players in general, and they unleash their inner beast, and that's when they proceed to sweep the enemy team. And will that happen again for the 3rd consecutive game? And apparently we've just been given the boost. There is a little bit of an issue with one of the players, something to do with their mouse, having some technical problems, which is all fine. But how are you feeling about the game state right now?
Feels like so far we've seen a lot of so far, I would say that there's not been a lot of high-level macro play that we've seen. It's been a lot of micro, been a lot of 4-1s, been a lot of just mid pushes, but the quality of the fights being taken and the micro and the game IQ and the mid rounding has really been something that I found quite amazing. Particularly though, speaking between these two teams, I would like to think that SSA are a bit more drilled and a bit in the fundamentals. You saw it during those retake protocols. You saw it when NF in that 1v3 allowing Almanya Faresi to just come forth and clutch out basically an unwinnable round. You saw it during the pistols when they recognized the win condition and played towards it. It's things like that that I think are giving SSA just that little bit of push to go over the line. And if NF are able to find a way to use hero rounds from down to get around it, then that's good enough for the time being. But as push comes to shove, if they want to be able to consistently put up rounds, something else is going to have to give. They're going to have to unlock a new level, whether it be in their micro when it comes down to split-second decisions, coming together as a team, or just overall outplaying SSA on the checkers board of Ascent.
Yeah, honestly, and right now, as we're going into this, we have the potential of going into the next half with a perfectly even score if NF are able to take these next 2 rounds. But if SSA are able to take it themselves, it could leave N5 in a bit of a precarious situation of having 2 down of a lead. But then again, we've seen that happen in their first match we've watched today, and that did not matter as they proceeded to reverse sweep. So there is still full potential that they could bring it back in the next half if they don't perform in these next 2 rounds.
Tough game so far, I would say,
Definitely.
for some of these players that we saw coming alive. It's actually been Down, who I'm quite impressed by on the side of NF.
Down's had some major clutch, especially these last 2 rounds. Came in clutch massively.
Right. And you remember back in Pearl, it was actually Down who was bottom fragging at a point. It was Down who was missing a lot of easy shots. It was Down who was, well, for lack of a better word, down in his gameplay. To be able to bounce back right now in the grand finals where your team needs it the most against probably the highest level opponents that you've encountered, it really speaks to how Down is as a player, and it really is a great redemption story that we see. Timer begins to move now. Seems our tech pause issue has been resolved. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for staying with us. As we come into this, it's SSA on a force buy. Nothing much to give, but they figure out the round. They figure out the right site. This aggression over towards A rewards them with Almanya. But immediately a response procs here. SSA looking to finish over towards B. It's Inan called upon to handle the charge.
Yeah, and Alman instantly getting taken down is a brutal opening kill for SSA. But they do manage to quickly make their way on the point as Cito finds Charizard and finds Ezreal trying to find their way on the point and take down Kliss as well. Just being left in a 1 versus 5 in the first 30 seconds of the round. NF are ready and waiting. They want to go into this next half with the best possible score. Well, they just get a nice quick pick onto Yumi. Very nice shot, but it's not enough. And obviously being in a 5 vs 1, a huge advantage. And next round goes over. We have the final round of the half. And surely SSI want to try and get this round under their belt, otherwise this is going to be a perfectly even score and more or less down back to square one.
Money not looking too hot for SSA. They still aren't able to afford a full buy. In the meantime, NF, not just the full buy, but operators on board as well as big ultimates. You're looking at Yumi in particular. He's farmed 2 so far. This half, not stellar for a performance on the CT side for Phoenix, but not bad either. Will most likely be used this round. SSA, the final round, opting to move over towards this A site. Down, that's an aggressive angle to take. Obviously makes better of it. Now looking to move over towards Tree, but he'll find soon that no one's home, and he'll find soon that he's going to have to take up the calling to go over towards this A side. That's a great stand from Cito. And the bomb plant going down should give up SSA's game plan. Reset here. SSA need a plan of approach.
Yeah, definitely. And as we're gradually getting closer, 30 seconds down to the last round, Knives come out. Oh, the movement goes crazy. What's that? Down with every single knife, but it doesn't matter. Instant gets a shot of the AWP. Cito finds one as well with Armman with the ult. Exactly what you want. We do have Yuumi all ready to go with the ult, but Charizard decides to swing onto Enon without the gun ready, and that's down to a 1 versus 3 now, with Clear just getting a nice pick up to Yuumi. Did pop the ult early and didn't get going. Finds the second one. Does go for the TP to go pick up the spike. No, just fakes it out as well. Just Cito left. Oh, hold on. Down
no bullets in the chamber. He doesn't have any bullets, just has to go for the sidearm, and indeed he'll run away. Now going over towards Hell, has the chance to reload. It'll be heard, but it's already
10
off.
seconds left.
Bomb still hasn't gone down. He didn't manage to get it down here yet, and so he has to go right back out in the open. Cito gets the kill, and you called it, Monkey. We're headed into the next half, tied all around.
Yeah. It was honestly close round. I really felt like he could have easily clutched out if they just held the correct angle, which is so unfortunate. But what can you do? And now we're going back over to our pistol round once again. We're just back at square one, and neither team has an advantage, so this could go either way once again.
Pistol round now. N5, you've mentioned it. He's great when they're a great team when it comes to the attack side. Very momentum based. They'll walk away feeling happy with what they've done on that CT side, off what looked to be a dreadful beginning. But now having to reset, now having to recoup. It's them now looking to penetrate this B side. As SSA go up for a mid clear, opting to try for something. NF will
taking
default.
Very slow.
Yeah, quite so. They're not even. They're expecting some aggression, I think.
Look at the patience on Charizard, just holding the flash, waiting for somebody to come up mid, but nobody's going for it. Thing is, what we want to remember is now we've swapped sides, we might see a different side to SSA that obviously we haven't come across yet, being its first time first game we've seen them in. But then again, we know N5 love their attack. So quiet,
Now some
like
movement coming
eerie.
through. Sably's on this angle. This could be dangerous. Free punch swing in towards him, and Sably can't land a shot. So now down, able to get that first blood. That's a big first blood to get. Charizard trying to fill in the gas, but he's been suspected of that sound being made to the Cypher cage. Players already on towards the site and still not exploding,
Spike
but instead
down
something
A.
moved
One
to
enemy
Weasel's actually the
remaining.
one to get all the kills, and now Roxon left on his lonesome. A 1v3. His team had all the advantage, you would think. Able to get only the one as he face checks Charizard. It's Almania for SC to be able to clean up. And so SSA now, that's both pistols won on the map, puts themselves in a strong position to start off their CT side.
Yeah, honestly, I'm all for this, and weirdly enough, I'm surprised that went to SSA, as it wasn't looking great to begin with. But somehow they turned it around so quickly, even after losing one for the first game.
Fast push, just punchy, trying to make something of it. They've invested nothing here on F, and
One enemy
rightly
remaining.
so, they'll just get mowed down. That's Easel with a full save of mine. That's part of the ultimate, hasn't it? And yeah, now Easel's going to be able to have it all. Blink and you miss it.
That I did.
guess
I'll be
happened.
honest. I blinked and I missed it, and the whole game was over before I know it. It's like what that. Even with the 4K, that I genuinely did blink, and next thing I know, the entirety of NF are gone. That was baffling, to be honest. I did not expect that, but hey ho, Essel is secretly the carry and leaving Sid like in the dust, as they've only got one kill in the last couple of rounds. So seems the hyper carry of the team is moving and changing priority here. As Yuumi does get a nasty bit of damage onto them from Klee. Well, thankfully they get to heal up thanks to the fire, but we do see Marshall coming up here from Sibley, and it's exactly what we see. They won these long line of sides, but with how much smoke and how much coverage is on A side push as they go for the spike pickup. Yeah, it seems Enon has now got it and is ready to move on, but they've got the site locked down, and Cleese holding a nasty angle with that Guardian. Does spot one.
Check spotted out. Okay, now this paranoia coming back in response. That's going to give a lot of information, especially as that flash comes through. Just the dynamic duo of the Sova and the Omen over on towards this site and just spamming through. Sadly, he's gone duck hunting, trying to make something of it. He's not even needed to activate. Again, now Cito in an unwinnable position. Able to spam down to one, has a dart. Almanya is low, but not quite patient enough. Cito tries to play off a timing, and now it's dangerous days here for N5. They've lost out on their bonus, and things don't look to be letting up anytime soon.
Honestly, that was a good attempt from Cito. I'll have to give it to them when credit is due. It was a good attempt, very decently close to be fair, getting a nice 2 picks. But it just wasn't quite enough, and it's starting to feel that SSA are starting to run away with the game now, as their defense is rock solid, and you cannot get through it as easily as NF are used to in their last couple of games.
What a smoke. That's a unique smoke.
It definitely is.
Yeah,
You don't
cuts
see that
off
every
line
day.
of yeah, it's probably trying to cut off line of sight from mid, right? So it's trying to threaten mid presence while still be allowing the operator to look over towards tiles, and it does exactly that. Gets that kill over towards tiles. It's Enon who falls. Now the push just has to come through, and Priest is all the more happy to get these kills. I say that. He actually managed to fall. Now Yumi has ultimate, and Yumi's going to pop it, trying to catch Ezo. It's not even going to be him who has to catch it. Down able to get that kill, and now Savla has a tough choice to make. So does Almanya, trying to play in the smoke. Almanya gets caught, and so now Savly, the only one who's really a threat over towards the site. Charizard too little too late. The bomb's able to go down, but there's still not much weaponry as the wall gets broken apart. Pushing forward, he has 2 flashes still. Charizard, the fire-breathing man, has a chance here to make something of it. 1v3. Pushes out, weaning over towards Artis. He's gonna have to clear Hell and a main. A B main, right? Yeah, A main, sorry. First one spotted out, moving over towards Jenny. That's a great Molotov, but not quite enough. Down, able to get 4. Need him to come the last at the 11th hour. Down is always able to find something out of nothing.
Okay, so that was an unfortunate play by Charizard. I feel the fact if they just simply, rather than, obviously the flash is what you want, but I feel that if they pulled back a little bit to give themselves a little bit more room to throw the flash out and then pull out their gun, they may have had a chance to clutch that out. But it's only 1 round loss in the half, and already having a few, so it's not too bad, and it's going quite well for SSA so far.
Fast. This is punchy. Based off of that, 5 feel good about their B side. They've still not hit A B once. They've now started to pivot. They've drawn all their attention, realizing they can't quite push in, courtesy of Easel's ultimate. Now they try to explore over towards this B area. Drones coming through, information being caught by SSA. They now know there's no one in towards B main, and mid seems surprisingly empty. Charizard will go for a peek and is rewarded. That's down, now falling. No more impact for the demon himself. Ezo gets another one on his own. And this B site hit looking all the more treacherous as time goes by. And it's still invested still. Able to get 1, gets damage as well. But it's still such a difficult attack. Almanya able to slip in over towards B, but he won't be needed. Charizard springing out through the market smoke, catches 2, and keeps SSA a healthy distance away from N5.
Yeah, that was a nice pick though from Cito. A really good opening ult shot there. But when it comes to it, it was unfortunate. It wasn't quite enough, as SSA are gradually making their way ever so closer to victory. But even though this series has still been a really good performance, obviously we do know SSA have incredible players, incredible skill sets as well. And the fact NF are putting up such a fight is an admirable on its own, and the fact they are here in the upper finals, so no matter what the performance, they still earned their rightful spot.
Yeah, NF, the protagonist who we've been following for 3 games now. if this were a fairy tale ending, the protagonist would usually always come out on top, but this ain't story. This is sports, and in sports, nothing is guaranteed.
Cover going out.
Not even an eco round. Anything could happen, and that's the mentality NF have to take into this round if they want to keep themselves competitive. But Khalees makes it so hard to believe, doesn't he? Just catches Roxanne clean off his head, and now Down's forced to make a play, not expecting that the camera sees him, now able to sense it. Now shoots it away, but the information already given up. Yumi on this walk. He's being held by an operator. It'd been an unconventional position, and Savali very much in his right to get this kill, but whiffs the shot. Now Down activates. They're trying to hunt for it, trying to punish. Savali pops knives of his own, but he's not able to get that kill. It's Down again to get one more. Yumi trying to stay alive, trying to keep things competitive, but he falls inevitably. It's Down, the last one left on towards the site. Everything has to do of him, and it's too much. Too much to call on for the man. 7-11. 4-round lead here for SSA, as they are 2 away from reaching that grand final.
They're starting to run away with it. It's looking desperate, but as the rounds are getting closer and closer, it's starting to feel that NF are starting to break apart gradually. And while it's like I said, it's admirable, but I feel it might be getting to them, like we did previously speak about the exhaustion and that fatigue. It may be taking that toll, as we are seeing some slower reactions coming out from people we have normally be seen popping off in their last couple of games. So obviously, maybe you don't always do good in every single game you play. That's universal knowledge, really. Everyone knows that happens. You play some, you win some, you lose some. But in this case, oh, hold on, the op is looking for Yumi. But it's looking very desperate. Down is rotating around with their very own. But unfortunately, Ezel pops the trigger first, takes him down, and a peek coming up from Yumi gets taken up by Sabely. It's a really unfortunate opening, and unfortunately, Charizard finds Roxanne in return, and it's 5-2 already, with a minute on the clock still, and it looks like a very easy push for B side, as we do see though. It's not going to be easy for them, as well. We only have a singular player on B. All it's going to take for Alman is find them, does locate them, and we do see Klee rotating with the ultimate as well to support their Cypher. Spray comes down, Eden finds one, does find two, Cito finds a third. Hold on, the clutch of the century, we've evened out the score. Cito is going for the plant, and Cypher is uploading with the hat. We do see the locations are now revealed.
Not a lot of HP between them though, and there's still an ult available for Charizard. He's certainly going to be popping it here. This stack up, this could be unconventional, this could be unexpected. Cito trying to bait Charizard, he'll be able to spot out both, but now it's Cito left alone. He's only got 2 bullets left to sponge, 1 if it goes to the head, and he's already been counted out, selected. But Sabali pulls his knife out, and Cito breaks off an ungodly timing, ultra instinct, call it luck, call it instinct, whatever it is, it's guaranteed NF around. In the most unlikely of circumstances, a 2v5, Cito comes alive, and Sabali can't believe it. I can't believe it. How's that happened? It's given an 5 a lifeline here. And Down. He'll updraft. He's nervous.
Yeah, 100%.
Just missed inputs here and there.
Yeah, the very small input, and it's an incredible comeback from the 2 versus 5. You'd love to see it. Ezel though instantly finds Down. Nasty opening pick. Sybil finds Yumi with the operator. Finds another onto Eden, and Ezel finds another quick pick onto Roxanne.
And just like that, all that magic from the last round, just when it made you believe, SSA sweep away. They claim their rightful throne. 4 chances, the biggest gap that we've seen. I just want to point out there, by the way, that little updraft from Down looked like it didn't matter that much. He got caught by Almanya Faresi's strip, and he didn't have an updraft to be able to finagle his way out of it, so to speak. Sabali, with that, got an easy op shot. You have to wonder what might have happened if those 150 credits had been used at the correct time. No time to think though for the rest of these players. Time to think after the round as Charizard, he's looking to end it on his own terms, looking to end it quick.
Okay.
He's managed to get that first kill. He's managed to catch down. That's the entry now going fourth. And the rest of the team comes fourth. Sabali, that's a crazy shot to hit. Sabali keeps going for more. Sabali going forward. Unafraid, unperturbed. And now a 1v1 as the smoke settles. Bomb not in the hands of Roxanne. Roxanne does have the ultimate though, but he doesn't know where the planes are. He tries to hide. Now he ults. He's able to get the bomb. He's going to be able to get the plant down. No clue where Almunia is. It's just straight intuition. They've won Magics before. Almunia, he suspects it, but now Roxanne swings and he gets the kill.
Keeping him in this game.
Cannot close it.
Roxanne with a clutch, keeping them in the game for one more round. They've got 3 rounds to make up for it, just 3 more, and they can bring themselves to overtime. But every single decision and every minute play can make the difference between going to the low bracket or securing themselves match point to potentially fight for that place in the grand finals.
It's been nail biters, the rounds NF have won. Do they have 3 more miracles left in them?
Yeah, honestly,
Standard A push.
NF are built for miracles.
Charizard's going for a push again. Charizard's getting aggressive. The flash coming through, but nothing getting caught. It's actually down to one who manages to find a kill despite being flashed. Never tell him the odds. Smokes now come through, trying to stop them from getting space, but down. He's looking to disrespect this. Peeks out, dashes, gets away, spots nothing. And how do they play this? They've still not taken the space. This B side's completely taken, this B main area. It looks to be a B clear. Charizard has lurked his way in towards Market though. Could be a problem, could not be suspected. But he's going for more. Charizard looking to try and see something. Catches the first. Enon there for the trade. Not suspected in the corner. And now it falls on Ezel. Ezel with the drone to try and stall things out for time. But the rest of N5, they've actually left the site. They're actually leaving it alone. They're looking at where Down is. And they're looking at his position. Down able to find a crucial pick. Now he splits the difference. 2 players on either site. Neither player in an enviable position, but it's Klest who's called upon to lead the charge. Klest called upon to make something. Now Down gets the kill though. They're still trying to go for this A site. Klest fakes the TP. Now still has a paranoia. He's gonna paranoia both. TP's into a smoke. Is it red? Is it suspected? Indeed it is, but can anyone land a shot? Now 1 HP left. Klest, anything will do. Yuumi gets the kill. NF stay alive 1 more round.
Another insane play down the carry with the op. Once again, popping off and showing why they are insane at this game and incredibly accurate. But when it comes down to it, 2 more rounds, like you're saying, we're on the miracle run here with a potential look at overtime if they can just win 2 more. But like I said before, every minute decision and every minute play can mean the difference between going down or moving on. And right now, it's looking really good for NF, but then again, SSA are match point, and they are stacking ultimates. They do have, both teams have Phoenix, both teams have Sova, but we do have a Cypher ult for that intel on the side of SSA right now, and that is a crucial game changer in terms of information. But Down's taking the control of mid with that op once again, and it seems to have we've got 2 people opping for the judge this time round on SSA, which is interesting. Going for a much more close range top of scheme here, along with a Stinger and 2 Guardians. So in terms of actual currency, they're wanting to save for a single round to try and hold it out a little bit longer, but not much longer, as they've got a minute left on the clock. They need to start getting a move on. I know they're wanting to be patient. They gotta be very, very careful moving on, and Klee is holding very tightly to that angle.
They haven't cleared out anything. They don't know about this judge. A is such a strong position here. There's judges on either choke point. Sableye.
Oh no.
He used that judge to start off that bonus 3 rounds ago. He might just end it here again. The judges all come through, but it's only the one over towards A main that gets value. Now Charizard trying to make something. 2 flashes, managing to get the kill. The operator comes online, but the bomb plant can be able to come down. Yuumi, he's been able to be instrumental. Clears out all of this. The bomb plant comes through. Now the ults come out. Does it catch anyone? Catches over Down. Down just caught in the crossfire. Now the bomb comes through. through. Charizard, not able to get anything, but surrounded on all sides. They just have to fight. Something needed here. A miracle again called upon. Disadvantage. Cito with no health can't be able to use his ultimate. They just have to get these frags. Ezo gets that first one. It's all gone on Cito. He can't do it. SSA through by hook or by crook, they clean house, and they'll be your first grand finalist.
Yeah, incredible plays from all teams. NF giving them a right run for their money, giving us a banger of a series here in the upper bracket final. But my word, like you said, SSA are able to move on to the grand final and fight for their chance of winning the grand prize. NF are now going to have to move down to the lower bracket to Redemption to potentially have the opportunity to 1v1 SSA once again in their final match, and Redemption themselves in the grand final if they want any chance to bring themselves back to the limelight. But my word, what a series to finish off the upper bracket.
What a series. What a series.
Indeed,
it looked
honestly.
So close. It was
It did. It really did.
Fighters. And even when SSA got all the way to match point, N5 just had ways to make you believe, to have you think that this could still go to overtime. But regardless, it's time for SSA to enjoy their time in the spotlight. They are deservedly your first grand finalist. They will compete soon to fight for a chance of $100 prize pool. They've guaranteed 50 already, looking to double that here.
100%.
And I mean, that's it for us here, I guess.
Yeah, 100%. But before we end off, well, I say end off, the stream will end briefly for a little while, just as we get the lower bracket and everything getting ready sorted, and also for the grand finals in a little while. But before I end off, just going to quickly give one last shout out to our sponsor, ExitLag. Thanks to them again. And if you're struggling in your Valorant climb, you've got issues with your ping, we'd highly recommend investing, especially the incredible deal that we have thanks to them, giving you 50% off when you use code Wolvesden, WOLVESDEN, for 3 months entirely free, but also getting a month of free Nitro Basic, but only for new users only. Once again, thank you again for ExitLag. Huge help from sponsor and helping us make these tournaments happen. But that's going to be it from us today, just for a little while.
Before we go,
keep an eye on
one final thing.
Oh, go on.
Before we go, big shout out to the people who have been able to make this possible. Big shout out to my co-caster Monkey, first of all, for sitting through this all. Shout out to Tangerine, shout out to Mia's Tree for their lovely observing, making this all possible. Shout out to Dan for sitting here with us and just organizing it all, and shout out to Solo Wolf for just making everything here at Wolvesden possible. And finally, shout out to you who've watched this whole thing and joined us on this journey.
Yes, of course. Well, that'll be it from us for a little while. Do stay tuned. Keep an eye on your notifications for when we go live in a little bit, and we hope you enjoy the rest of our tournament today. But that's it from us. We'll see you later.
Good night.
Illusion, I am telling her, such another girl. Illusion, I am telling her, such another girl, not a girl.